Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, what's the best keyboard for somebody who really likes to type?
And I'm Mikah Sargent, and we answer a question about automating the silencing of that overly chatty group message.
Hate it when that happens. Then Sam Abuelsamid will explain what the heck's going on over there at Tesla. It's our Mother's Day edition of Ask the Tech Guys. Next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Mikah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 2024. Yay! For Sunday, May 12th, 2024. Exhaust holes. Well, hey, how are you today? Mikah Sargent, good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Leo Laporte.
I like your space socks.
Thank you. Constellations. Ooh.
I'm wearing the Aurora Borealis.
Is that what that is?
Did you see the Aurora?
I did not.
It looked kind of like my jacket-shirt combo.
I attempted to.
I did as well.
But
we are far enough north. Mm-hmm. It went down this far.
Mm-hmm. Many people saw it, especially with their astrophotography, and
that's it.
A lot of people used night mode on the iPhone to capture it. That worked great. So many people got to see it. It was supposed to be that even last night there were opportunities to continue to see it. However,
and there's going to be tomorrow night.
That's what they say.
Until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now the only people who aren't happy about this are the farmers.
Because
the John Deere company warned farmers that their GPSs in their combines may be kerfluggered thanks to the mass coronal ejection that is striking the earth right now. So it does affect electronics. This is one of the worst ones we've had in a long time. Anyway, it's cool that we can see the Aurora, whether it's in the Northern Hemisphere, the Borealis, or did you know it's called the Australis in the Southern Hemisphere?
Aurora Australis.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And south and north, right? And many people are seeing it, like in Tasmania, they could see it, I hear. So that's really cool. But it also, I don't think it affected, did our computers have problems? No.
I didn't see anything like that.
I think we survived.
I was able to use GPS just fine.
I live in constant terror that at some point.
It's not good on your heart.
No, it's terrible. My ticker.
Constant terror.
Coming! I live in constant terror that somebody or something's going to happen and blow out our electronics. And then where will we be?
In a bad place.
And there'll be no point for this podcast. I can tell you that right now.
Among other things.
How can we help with your computer? We can't. It's fried. It's dead, Jim.
How are you even talking to us right now?
Yes, our Zoom would stop working. Everything. We would be sitting in the dark.
Twiddling our thumbs. I would be making socks for people and would be receiving like fruits and things and barter for socks.
Yeah.
I've got those skills.
Good. That's good. You have a skill.
Yeah, I got a few skills I can use in our post-apocalyptic world. I could come to your house
and tell you the news one by one.
I love that. I love
Here's
that
a nickel.
You go around and you get the news from places and then you shout it out to people.
Julius Caesar has conquered Gaul. And then I come to your house and tell you that, and you give me a nickel.
Yeah, deal.
Yeah. Actually, I don't want a nickel. Give me fruit. You're right.
Exactly.
Barter for food.
You want food and water.
So tomorrow is the beginning of the end. I got to tell you, Skynet we will all look back and say, May 13th, 2024, that was when the machines took over.
Okay. And I'm missing a lot. I'm glad you're telling me the news, Leo.
It says, you see, I'm come to your house.
I will have a nickel for you.
To tell you the news. OpenAI is having an event we're going to cover. I'll stream it 10 a.m. Can you come in, John, or somebody? Okay. 10 a.m. Pacific time to announce something.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Now, we thought, must be ChatGPT 5. That's the next one. They're working on it. They've been calling it coyly ChatGPT 2, but we think that's what it is. But no. I know. It's going to be search. No,
not going to be search.
Sam Altman, CEO, tweeted, it is neither search nor ChatGPT 5, but it is something that will terrify you. I don't think he said that.
He did not say that. He definitely did not say that.
He did say it was going to be big.
Yeah, but isn't that his job to say?
Yeah. Here's the thing I think is going on. It's interesting. We'll find out tomorrow. Bloomberg reported that Apple is very close to finalizing the deal that will put ChatGPT on your phone. The other rumor, concurrent rumor with that, is that, so Apple made a deal, OpenAI, put it on your phone.
Yeah.
The other rumor is that that's what they're going to announce tomorrow is Her.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
They're going to claim it's, so remember the movie Her, Spike Jonze' amazing movie, which was prescient as we look back on it, about Joaquin Phoenix, who was a sad little man with no girlfriend. His girlfriend left him. His job was writing
writer, right?
love letters or something, letters for people. They had AIs, they used AIs, and he finally got lonely, and he got an AI he put in his ear who sounded just like Scarlett Johansson and was just as cute, and played with him and took him out, and did it have a physical appearance? I didn't know.
No.
But her voice was cute.
Oh, I see. Okay,
she had a cute voice.
Oh, cute voice.
She did. She had that little catch in her voice. She did. Oh yeah, it's a great movie. It's worth watching.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
And I'm spoiling it completely. He falls in love with her. I mean, that's, I guess,
spoiler.
And then I won't tell you what happens at the end, but that's Her. And when I say Her, I think that's what Sam Altman's going to pitch tomorrow.
I would like to read the tweet directly. Not GPT-5, not a search engine, but we've been hard at work on some new stuff we think people will love. Feels like magic to me. Her feels
That's very
like
Apple-y,
magic.
by the way. Apple says, we think you will love this, and it feels like magic all the time.
Yeah.
Her's magic.
Her felt like magic for sure.
And the rumors that have been going around is people, in the know, from people who know but won't say who they are, that it's a chat bot of some kind.
Well, that's interesting to me because, as we have demonstrated on this show before, ChatGPT already has the conversations feature.
Yeah, watch. I'm going to talk to, this is Google's Gemini.
Yeah, and Gemini.
What should I ask? Oh, yeah. Give me a synopsis of the movie Her by Spike Jonze. Oh, that's no good. It didn't speak. Sometimes it speaks, sometimes it doesn't. A sensitive and soulful man earns a living by writing personal letters for other people. Left heartbroken after his marriage ends. I think we nailed this.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix becomes fascinated with a new operating system, which reportedly develops into an intuitive and unique entity in its own right. It reads all his stuff and can synopsize it. It can help him do all the things that he does. Now, that's obviously ChatGPT isn't to that point, but I think what this will be is ChatGPT 4 connected to the web.
Oh, it's
so it can update
that is
itself.
search.
So it's like search.
Oh dear.
But the problem with ChatGPT 4, as we see today, is its knowledge stopped at the point that they stopped training.
That's true.
So I'm going to guess that's what they're going to do. Though friends initially, the relationship soon deepens into love. He meets Samantha, whose bright voice reveals a sensitive, playful personality. She's cute. I was hoping you would tell me, Gemini. You would speak to me. Sometimes Gemini speaks, sometimes not. Why is it sometimes you speak the answer and sometimes you don't?
I was going to say, because you have mute on, you nitwit.
There are many reasons why someone might not respond to a question. Not someone, you, Gemini.
What a coy answer.
Gemini, can you talk to me? Talk to me, Gemini. You're being coy now, aren't you? Is it Gemini or Gemini? All right, it's not good. It used to talk to me. ChatGPT will talk to me. In fact, I made it. You could see I made it my action button on the iPhone because it's really handy actually to be able to say, you know, how old is Fred Astaire? Things like that. Really old. Actually, the other day I was asking, what's the name of the guy who's singing Blue Suede, Hooked on a Ceiling? Hooked on the Ceiling. Hooked on a Feeling.
Hooked on the Ceiling.
So I'm watching Eurovision.
That was Weird Al.
I'm watching Eurovision yesterday. Congratulations to the winners. And they started off because it's in Malmö, Sweden.
Oh.
They started off with the most famous Swedish singer of the 60s, who was the group Blue Swede, but it was a guy named Bjorn Ski. His name is spelled Skeefs.
But you don't say any of the letters at the end?
Let me see. Let me just see if because they pronounced it correctly. How old is Bjorn Skiffs?
Bjorn Weefs is 77 years old.
Weefs.
Spelled Skiffs, but it's pronounced. But see, she said.
Yeah,
I
that's
tricked her into talking.
loud. You did. Ha-ha.
Aha! How about you?
You got.
He looks pretty good for 77, and he sang very well. Do you remember that song? You wouldn't.
Hooked on a Feeling?
I'm hooked on. It's Ooga Chukka.
Of course I remember that song.
Ooga Chukka.
I mean, remember it as in when it first came out? No, but I have heard that song plenty. There's also a rumor that they are working on integrating calls with ChatGPT. What if
on which end? My end or your end?
Exactly. And I'm wondering, is it just an integration with Zoom or something, or is it they're doing their own calls? I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll cover that 10 a.m. We're going to watch the live stream together. Jeff Jarvis will join me, and it'll be fun. John will be running the board, or somebody. Well, somebody will be here. We have to wake people up.
What time is it again?
10 a.m.
Okay.
Pacific. 1 p.m. Eastern. That would be 1700 UTC live. You go to TWiT, you go to youtube.com/TWiT, and you can watch it live. Right?
Yep.
Do we stream that, John?
And the direct link is
let's stream it.
youtube.com/twit/live.
Oh.
Will take you directly to our
you know
live
more
stream
than I do.
specifically.
Okay, what else is going on?
What else is in the news?
Did you buy an iPad?
Yes.
We're suckers.
We bought an iPad, yes.
I bought one too. We both bought one. You bought the 11-inch
I
Pro.
did get the 11-inch, and yes, I got the Pro. I did get, I know, I'm sure you got at least a terabyte.
You
right?
have to.
Right. Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying.
You have to.
You got at least a terabyte, so you have the best RAM, you have the best processor.
It's 8 gigs of RAM unless you get 1 or 2 terabytes.
Mm-hmm. And then
it's also a binned chip, what they call a binned chip. You know, that's when they make the chip. Chips are not perfect always. And then they test it, and they have bins for different speeds that it's capable and so forth. And our best guess is this new node that TSMC is using to make these chips, the 3NE node. It has some flaws, defects, because anything under a terabyte memory on the iPad Pro will be only 3 performance cores.
I think it's just one.
It's one less.
Yeah, one fewer.
So I think it's 3 instead of 4. There's 2. You get 2. I'm sorry, efficiency cores. You get 2 performance cores and 3 or 4 efficiency cores. So you're telling me, I'm guessing from your demeanor, from your mien, that you did not get.
Because when I ordered, as I always do when it comes to Apple products, as quickly as I possibly could, it had not yet been revealed that
So you can cancel
512.
it. It's not too late. Cancel it and get it.
It's too late to get it on the day of, though. And I want to make sure that we can get it on the day of and do a review. So
you did the same thing, John? So here's the thing. I don't think it's going to make any difference at all, because you know why?
Because it's iPad OS.
It's iPad OS. This is an overpowered beast designed for nothing that is out now.
And it'll be good because we can compare if there's some way we can show the difference between the two. I want to see if that, you say there's, as we said, it's not going to make a difference. I don't think it will. It will be nice for us to go, here's the one instance where it actually does make a difference.
So even though it's not about the amount of storage. You're getting a little more storage. You're getting a terabyte or 2 terabytes at a great cost, by the way.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that price goes up so much is because you're also getting double the RAM, and you're getting an extra efficiency core. You're getting the unbinned, the full chip.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We shall see.
It's crazy expensive. I also bought the aluminum keyboard, the new keyboard,
and the new
Pen 3,
Pro.
which I never use my pencil because I am not an artist. But we're going to try it. We're going to test it. And, you can always return it. And, that's what you should do.
What I'm planning on doing is,
Open the
after
box,
they
play with it, and then return it and get a terabyte.
Get a terabyte.
Yeah. I didn't go for the 2 because it was $1,000 more. It was crazy expensive.
And the big reason for that is we have talked about this a lot on different shows. We really do feel like this is the hardware product that Apple is making this is the hardware level that Apple is making all of its generative AI stuff for.
Yes.
So it'll be important for us to have at least one M4 device to be able to test what Apple is working on in terms of that. So yeah, I would like to eventually swap that out for one that's a
You may have gathered from our conversation so far that we are AI bullish.
We are AI bullish. That is a great, if you've engraved it, I don't know.
I mean, who would want one that says Jammer B loves bacon? I don't think you can return.
Wait, is that what the B is for? Jammer bacon? I never knew.
Slanina is
That's what the B is for.
Eastern
It's for
European name word for bacon.
That is a good question, though. I have never tried. Well, I don't engrave, but
I engraved mine.
why?
Hands off my my iPad.
But you could just like put a sticker on it or something.
I know. Why did I engrave it? I don't know.
Because then you can't return it as easy.
It's free to engrave.
Yeah, it is free to engrave.
Hey,
They're
it's
like,
free.
Please do it.
Oh,
so that
that's
you can't
interesting. You think
return
they
it.
do that so you can't return it?
I don't know.
You can return it.
I could
They
ask
take the guts out.
GPT. You could ask Gemini, can I return an engraved iPad?
Is it possible to return an engraved iPad? Yes. You can't exchange it in store, but you can return it within 14 days. So it's okay.
They just buff it out.
The only exchange exceptions are personalized items such as engraved. So I got both. I got both answers. You pick. This one's from Apple.
That's lovely.
This one's from a ChatGPT. You take your pick. AI says you can. Apple says, what are you, crazy? No. All right. I don't know. I don't. You want to see it? You want to see it? See? This, I don't know why it does this underliner thing. Yes. Read that to me. You can return a Scarlett, an engraved iPad to Apple, but you can't exchange it in store. And then this is, well, now this is education. The only exchange exceptions are personalized. Maybe you can't exchange it, but you return it for credit.
Because there's that 14-day.
Yeah, I bet you.
Yeah.
I bet you can.
Because what would happen if you got an engraved one and then there was something wrong with it? You should still be able to.
It says if the device is engraved by Apple, its trade-in value will not be impacted, and that's because all they do is sandblast the back, and
that's a
it's
good point.
to go, right?
So their engraving process is a easy to unengrave, right?
Yeah, they use a stapler.
Just staple a piece of paper.
888-724-2884. No, that's not my Bitcoin wallet, although it could be. It is, in fact, our phone number. If you want to call in and ask a question, make a comment, make a suggestion, 888-724-2884. If you want us to see your beautiful face, you can use Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Just go to call.twit.tv and Zoom us. That way we can put you in the Stargate over here. You can also email. In fact, we have some voicemails and we have some emails today, which we will get to that email for future reference, atg@twit.tv. And I should mention, we do this show, and that's why we have a big clock here, on Happy Mother's Day, Sunday, between roughly 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're listening at that time, you can call and get your answer live. Otherwise, you'll have to leave a message, if that all makes sense. Mashed Potato in our Club Twit Discord chat says, you can exchange it for a withering, scornful look. Yeah, sure. You can exchange it. No problem.
Yeah, little.
Yada. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'll have those for review. We're doing a weird thing. I should mention this. We're scheduling wise.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Not only were we doing the OpenAI event tomorrow, Tuesday we're doing Google I/O. It's really interesting that OpenAI scheduled their event the day before.
Right
Google.
before.
Both of them will be about AI, of course, as will Apple's WWDC. So what we're gonna do is flip-flop This Week in Google and MacBreak Weekly. So Tuesday in MacBreak Weekly's place, starting at 10 a.m., right after iOS Today, we will go to the keynote of Google I/O. Jeff Jarvis will be joining me. And I'm not sure Paris couldn't make it. We'll have a third. And then we'll do the normal Security Now at its normal time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Wednesday, it'll be flip-flopped. And I realized this is a good thing because my iPad's supposed to come Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah.
After Windows Weekly, I'm going to hop in the car, run home, and stand there waiting for FedEx until about 1:50, and then I'm going to hop in the car and drive back and say I didn't get it. So just a little heads up. That's what I'll be doing on Wednesday. Maybe it'll come in the morning.
Hopeful.
Usually it comes in today.
Yeah.
Almost always, right? If yours comes early, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You're going to be on Mac Break Weekly that day, are you?
On Wednesday?
Well, maybe not.
I think you've got it booked, but
I just
Micah,
made
do you
him.
want to come on back?
Yeah.
well, you can talk about that later.
Anyway, you want to play with your iPad. I am excited. It's very thin.
Yeah.
Do not bend it.
Don't bend it.
Jerry rigs everything. Do not.
Or actually, you bend it so no one else does.
I guess.
Somebody's got to, right?
I guess. Do not blend or bend.
Do not blend it.
I'm very excited because of this OLED. I think, and Joe, who's a photographer in our club TWiT, who is a street photographer, is also very excited. We both think it'll be the ideal photography companion with that brilliant screen, all that processing power. A lot of people still use Lightroom on the iPad. I am increasingly enamored of the other iOS specific apps like Darkroom, Affinity Photo. I think Darkroom is my favorite now. So I think I can do everything I could do, including Camera Raw, from my cameras. I have the app that goes with the camera. It can import right to the iPad. I use iPhotos to keep track of all my photos. That's my digital asset management. And then I can I'll be able to use Darkroom. I'm thinking this is going to be my one-stop shop for photo. I will no longer need a Mac for photo. And that's what I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. You need your Lightroom presets in Darkroom, Joe says. Yeah. Make some new presets. All right. Should we do a call? What should we do? Are we done with the news? I think we're done.
We're good with the news.
I did mention, I'll peripherally, but I'll say it again. I think both Micah and I won't speak for you. I am bullish on AI. I don't think AI is going to become Skynet. I don't think it's going to become smarter than us. I think it's going to become the ideal companion to humanity.
That's where I would like to see it be. And I think that I'm mostly bullish on it. I am concerned about how quickly, I want to have us quickly teach people the AI literacy that needs to take place.
Yeah.
That's where any concern that I have lies, is making sure that people know. On Tech News Weekly, I had Amanda Silberling on, and Amanda had written an article for TechCrunch about the Met Gala AI.
Oh yeah, Katy Perry and Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked really good.
They did look good. Neither of them were there. Rihanna
Honestly,
had the flu.
Does it matter?
It matters that people thought it was real.
Does that matter?
Yes, because that is one example of something that is, you're right, it's frivolous.
It does not matter.
Why does it not matter?
If they had Joe Biden in a flower dress.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But you would then know it was a deep fake.
Well, yes, but Joe Biden doing something else that's my concern is.
Well, that will happen.
People, yeah.
We're going to see that.
What I'm saying is I really hope that we work on educating people to have skepticism filters. That's what I want.
Have skepticism
and I'm
filters.
Encouraging it as much as possible.
But I do think that we are going to see amazing things from AI, and it's going to be a very interesting next few years.
And maybe we will also be able to use AI to quickly say this is AI.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That may well be.
Yeah.
They're trying to do that.
So that we know.
I also think, I was jesting a little bit that tomorrow is going to be the day we say, but I do think tomorrow is potentially, OpenAI is really doing some amazing stuff. Potentially the next big stage. We'll see.
I mean, did you take a walk on a beach with somebody? Tell you if
saying nothing.
Tell you what's being announced tomorrow?
I didn't. I am hopeful that AI, honestly, I'll be honest. Can I be honest?
Please be
honest.
And
then I'd like to take the guy in the shades.
Especially because
lined up already.
Oh, you have a caller.
But I know that he can't stay looking at a screen for too long. Is the thing.
Yeah. It's okay. We can we'll get to you soon.
Yeah.
Mr.
Very
Shades
soon.
Man. And you can look away for the time being. Just listen and we'll talk to you. I do feel that we have screwed things up somewhat.
Okay.
We humans. And it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Where is he going with this?
If an AI could act. See, part of the reasons we screw things up.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Part of the reasons we screw things up is because of our limbic system, our nervous system, our emotions, right? Would it be interesting? And I don't think AI should ever act independent of humans, because that limbic system is what makes us human. But wouldn't it be interesting if AI could solve some of the problems that we are, for irrational reasons, I think, having difficulty solving, including war, famine, pollution, those kinds of things. We've done a lot to dirty our nests. And I think maybe, I'm not saying I want AI to control us, but maybe with the help of AI, we can be better.
You are talking about
Tescrial,
the future invented by probably a number of things, but Neil Schusterman's Scythe is all about how AI
I'll have to read this.
Gets to a place. It's called the thunder cloud because it's bigger than the cloud, which is kind of goofy. But it gets to a place where basically all knowledge is known, meaning that the AI is capable of understanding how to solve world hunger, how to end world crises,
we know how
to do this, how to do that.
This is a good example because we know how to solve world hunger. There is more than enough food produced in the world. It's a distribution problem.
Right.
There's more than enough food produced in the world. And part of the problem is humans getting in the way. Most of the problem is the humans getting in the way. So I just, maybe this is kind of a pathetic, but I admit to it. I feel like we've not done such a great job. Maybe with the help of AI, not taking over, not running the world, we could be better stewards.
Have you read all of Bobiverse that exists?
Yes, I have read all of the
So then you are aware
Bobiverse. I want to be a von Neumann probe in my old age.
But you may recall the group who hand over control to an AI, which is interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. I won't go into detail because I don't want to spoil it.
It's a wonderful series. It does, in fact, get into some more deep concepts. I am loving Hyperion right now, which is another classics, a Hugo Award-winning sci-fi book. And it also has... It also has what they call the all thing, which is an AI that in certain areas of the universe is running things. The all thing, and what's really interesting is the all thing is a democracy because people join it, and then all they do the whole time is vote. Like, I think everything. I think you should do this. I think you should do this, and then the all thing combines the votes. At least that's my understanding of it. Anyway, I'm not through with it yet. All right. So let's take our first call of the day right after a word from our sponsor.
We're just big teasers here.
We're big teasers. We are going to take our first call as soon as I tell you how we hire here at TWiT. It's not how we found you, Mikah. No. We found you because you were always on the shows all the time. We thought we should give this guy something to do. We thought this guy is really good, and we would love to have him work with us. Is what we thought. Our show today brought to you by ZipRecruiter. When we have needed people in the past, we've gone right to ZipRecruiter. And I'll tell you, there is a reason why you use ZipRecruiter. Have you ever set your phone alarm to buy tickets? I know you have. I have. As soon as they go on sale, or and honestly, that means months in advance, right? When you want the best, you have to act quickly, especially when it comes to employees. It is these days a real competition for the best employees. You want to find the most talented people for your open roles before the competition swoops in and scoops them up. Best way to do that is ZipRecruiter. It really works. ZipRecruiter helps find quality candidates fast. Right now, you can try it for free, ZipRecruiter.com/twit. How does it help? Well, first of all, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology takes center stage to identify top talent for your roles. It looks at your listing, looks at the more than 1 million current resumes, because people come to ZipRecruiter looking for work, and does some matching. Immediately after you post your job, that smart technology will then, by the way, it doesn't invite them to apply. It shows them to you. You look at them, you screen them, you vet them, and say, that one, invite them. I have to tell you, when you invite somebody to come work for you, you jump way ahead of the competition because they're not doing that. It's really a great technique. There are lots of other things ZipRecruiter does to make you stand out from the crowd. Amp up your hiring performance with ZipRecruiter and find the best fast. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For us, it's usually within the first hour. I kid you not. It's amazing. Just go to our exclusive web address right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/twit. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/TWiT. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Thank you, ZipRecruiter, for supporting Ask the Tech Guys. Takes two to answer your question. Let's bring our first caller in. John Ashley. Actually takes three. John has to bring him in.
I have to push a couple buttons here, and caller, you're on air now.
You're on the air. Hi, what's your first name? Where are you calling from in your first name?
Chris from Clark, Colorado. How you doing, Leo and Mikah?
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
What can we do for you?
Well, first I got to say I'm glad you guys have a commercial in between, your deep philosophical discussion and my question, because that's going to be a tough act to follow. But I'm a Club Twit member, so I'm not used to commercials. So it'll be interesting for the Club Twit folks that see,
They're going to go. You're going to be right up against the AI on that one.
Yeah. So how do I make my screen brighter? No, I'm just kidding.
By the way, you mock it, but that's exactly one of the things Microsoft said. Oh, look what Copilot can do, and it was how do I turn on dark mode? Or no, I'm sorry, it was just turn on dark mode and turn off dark mode. To me, that's not the most useful thing for an AI, but fine. Microsoft must know what they're doing. So what can we do for you, Chris? That's the question.
Well, first I've got a tip. I listened to last week's Ask the Tech Guy, and one of the things I'm a cybersecurity guy, and I teach cybersecurity for home users and such.
Awesome.
Nice.
And one of the things I recommend for people that have iPhones and potentially iPads and all that is for setting up a PIN, go into the settings and turn on the alphanumeric keyboard.
Very smart.
And then you could put, you could put 4 numbers, whatever, and then followed by any letter.
Even
or
a letter
point.
would make it so much better, wouldn't it? Because there's only 9 digits, or 10, I guess, if you include 0. There's only 10 digits. And so it's much smaller. The alphabet's 26. Plus, most bad guys are expecting numbers only, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, as soon as somebody opens it up and sees this keyboard in front of them, they're going to go,
let me find one that's got
good.
10.
Let's steal a different phone. Oh.
Yeah. And then when the cop is telling you to put in your password, you say, I'm just so nervous, and just keep fat fingering it until it just erases.
That's exactly right.
But
so you go to settings, you go to security and password options, right? Is that where we do this?
Yep.
And then,
right.
Oh no, actually. What?
Yeah, you'll have to enter in your.
Yeah, but it's not
your current PIN.
That
get to it.
That didn't do it for me. Oh, I went to the wrong place. There we go. This is one thing I have to knock Apple for. I can't find anything in the settings ever. I'm just going to try PIN. How about PIN code? Nope.
It's settings, Face ID, and passcode.
Thank you. Settings.
Yeah.
There you go. Settings, Face ID, and passcode.
And then it'll prompt you to type in your passcode.
Which mine is only 6 digits, so don't look.
So once,
but 6 digits, even that, the law enforcement can't force you to enter those. But if you don't, or if you're worried about law enforcement, turn off Face Unlock, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have it. I'm not worried, so I keep Face ID on. But then you also can.
Yeah, if you press all 3 buttons at once on the side, that will automatically disable it temporarily. Once you're in there, you choose change passcode.
And then change it from, again, I have
from whatever the current one is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and then when it says enter, here, you can show this now. I'm not doing anything secret now. When you could start with the 6 digits, but there's this options thing, and that's what you want. You can do 4. Oh, I can't believe they still allow 4 digits.
Drop to 4. I think if you choose that, there might be some limitations. I can't remember. Oh no, I guess not.
Shame. Don't use 4. 6 is minimum, because 4 is only it's just too easy to guess, right? Mm-hmm. Although if you turn on that 10 tries and you're done.
Yeah, that helps.
It'd be hard to guess 10,000 passwords.
Unless your password is 0000.
That's the problem. A lot of people have, it's really interesting. I saw a graph of passcodes, numbers. Mm-hmm. And there's this, so it shows, it's a scatter plot of all the different passcodes. There are thousands. that people had used somehow. They got them. I'll find this. I think it was on Reddit. But there's a solid line on 20 and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A lot of people just use the year of their birth.
Oh.
There's these really clear indicators that people are repeating numbers, doing certain things that make it easier to crack.
Yeah. So that's what those
random.
they start with, right? If you're doing one of those automated systems, you start with the ones that are easy to guess.
So you could do 4-digit, 6-digit custom numeric code, which means I guess I can make it as long as I want. And then custom alphanumeric.
309.
And then, this is so smart. Apple's so smart. It says, for the next 72 hours, you can use your previous passcode to reset your news passcode if you forget it.
Yeah.
How many times have you done that? Right?
Yeah. And what's great too is because I recently changed mine. And when I typed in my old passcode, it prompted me and said, do you remember that you just recently updated this? So it let me know, hey, you fool, you were typing in the old one that you're not using anymore, which was nice because then I go, oh, right, I'm using that new one now.
Anyway, Chris, is that why you called in, or you just wanted to pass that along?
No, the reason I called was I listened to Security Now last Tuesday. And when you guys were talking about the VPN stuff, I mean, when Steve started off, he's like, yeah, it's not that much of a problem. And the more you started talking, and you even picked up on it, it's like, wait a minute. Now, Steve probably never gets out, and he isn't like the rest of us that goes to libraries, coffee shops, and, every other public VPN on the planet. So he isn't too worried, but the more I dug into it, I reread the article, I reread his notes, I actually re-listened to it. And it's like, this is a big deal.
He said, it's not a problem if you don't use an open Wi-Fi access spot, but like a coffee shop, a library, an airport. So this is really good, Chris. I'm glad you brought this up. It comes down to something called option 121, which is it's part of the VPN specification. And Chris, you read it and you studied it, so I didn't really understand why this needs to exist. It has something to do with enterprise and being able to change the routing table, right?
Right. Yeah, and that was the confusing part. So I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm staring at routing tables going, this is Greek to me. And right. I'm actually diving in, trying to understand.
But the ability to change the routing table simply means a bad guy using option 121 can route your traffic unencrypted through his computer and then onto the VPN.
Right. The way I understood it was that the bad guy can make it so that certain IP addresses would go through a VPN, i.e. the VPN. So the VPN would go through the normal route and be happy. And you're thinking that everything's happy, but then selective, and that's one of the things is I don't know how they pick, all the other IPs need to go through the bad DHCP and the bad router.
Right.
So at first I have a suggestion for Club TWiT members, or if you could just con Steve into becoming a member and, getting some posts from us, because I refuse to go on Twitter. But, I mean, it's kind of like he just left us hanging, and everything I'm reading, even with Brian Krebs and everything, is there's some mitigations. But I mean, two thoughts I had was, first, if we could read, I downloaded something that lets me look at the routing table on my iPhone. And again, it's Greek to me, but if somebody could give a little quick tutorial, if we could con Steve into saying, hey, this is what a routing table looks like, and here's how you could tell if your traffic is going through a bad guy's router versus your VPN's router, that'd be one thing. I don't know if something like...
I think what's going to happen is VPNs... So here's the thing. This option 121 is needed by enterprises. And this is why Microsoft will never turn it off. Android has it turned off. Android is not vulnerable to this attack. iPhones are, Windows is, Mac is. I think what you're going to see, there's two possibilities. One is VPN. I think this will be the first thing that'll happen. VPN providers are going to have to address this. And so they're going to do something to disable option 121, to say, no, you can't reroute our traffic. I don't think Microsoft will ever turn it off because, Microsoft's not going to turn off something that businesses use ever. because it would cause too much trouble. So it's going to require the VPN services to respond. So that's the thing, is to look carefully for VPN services that respond to this, that turn off option 121 or somehow prevent the routing table from being changed so that you are secure. In the meanwhile, I don't know what you do.
Right. The only thoughts I had, and again, I don't know if Steve can answer this if you just put a bug in his ear. Or I'm hoping there's a bunch of folks they're similar to me.
There's no known mitigation because
but
it's
one
not.
Of them would
it's
be,
a
I don't know if we
feature.
could use IP info. Well, yeah, but okay. So we understand it's a feature of DHCP,
Right?
But how do we on our end take a look and see if the bad guys got us? The worst case was, it was kind of ironic that right after that, you guys had in your last week's Ask the Tech guys, you talked about a travel router.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that might do the trick, because then my DHCP is going to be my travel router. And then I don't care whatever stream of traffic is going through the bad guys stuff. By that time, my VPN will have a secure connection. So, for the uber paranoid of us that are, running the nuclear codes while we're in libraries, I'll just pull out my travel router, I guess. I don't know, but it would just be nice if I would hope that the VPN software providers do something. But if there was some way that we could tell if one of the bad guys.
That's a great idea. I'll ask Steve on Tuesday. That's a great idea. Super. You're right. Steve, I guess because Steve doesn't go out much, just really didn't recognize the severity of the problem and said, that's not a problem.
Or when he does go out, he's enjoying life and not stuck in his phone like some of us.
Exactly. But some of us have to use open Wi-Fi access points. And for those of us, and it's a relatively, I think, non-trivial attack that can easily be, created for script kiddies and others to use. So I think it is a bigger threat than Steve really acknowledged, but we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
I mean, the good news is, reading through Krebs' article, I mean, they did point out that if you're using, bank websites, and we've talked about this on other security podcasts, was, you're using HTTPS everywhere.
Yeah,
and so most of your stuff's going to be protected. Right. So even if you're going through a bad guy's router, you're probably in good shape. But
yeah, if stuff is encrypted, even if it's going through the VPN, if it's encrypted before it gets to the VPN, you're fine. Yeah.
The way I understand it is that the bad guys can say, no, your traffic's not going to go through the encrypted VPN tunnel. It's going to go through my router unencrypted
and then out.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly why that's a problem. But if it's HTTPS, it doesn't change anything. I think that may also be why Steve was more sanguine about it, because most traffic now is HTTPS, it's TLS based. So it's already encrypted before it even hits the VPN. Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad you brought it up, Chris. I forgot to talk more about this. I'll read Brian's. I haven't read Brian's article about it yet, and Brian's good, so I will check what he has to say about it. I'm still looking for the most common PIN numbers. Here it is. So, most to least common PIN numbers. So, this line is people using their birth year.
Wow.
This is a scatter plot of 3.4 million PIN numbers from multiple data breaches. This scale is the first two digits. That's the second two digits. So if the first two digits are 20, then you're getting the second two digits are birth year. It's really fascinating. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. The brighter the dot, the more people are using it, obviously. And then people using the same two pairs, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. Don't do that. Because these bright dots are the ones the bad guys are going to try right away. Isn't that fascinating?
Wow.
It's really...
I just switched between your birthday and Micah's birthday.
That's it. Use ours. No, don't use a birth year. First of all, you shouldn't be using 4 digits. That's part of the problem right now. 6 digits would be a lot better. But still, people are using 4 digits, and this is part of the problem. And unfortunately, a lot of banks, my bank PIN is 4 digits. Mm-hmm. Your bank card, right?
Yeah.
A lot of companies are still using 4 digits because they know people are not going to remember 4 digits. So use 4 random digits. That's basically the rule. Or as random as you can remember, I guess. 1158. That'd be good. That'd be good. There, 1159.
Also good.
That'd be good.
Because I wasn't born then.
Chris, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for being in the club.
Thank you so much for your support and for the great tip.
We appreciate it. Have a great day. All right, take care. Yeah, I'm glad I found this graph because it shows you we're herd creatures. We operate in a herd.
And we like simplicity.
And it's hard to remember.
Like
this is the problem with passwords and passcodes and pins. It's hard to remember.
Hard to remember and frustrating when you forget.
Right.
I believe it is time for our car guy.
But before
we get to our car guy, we are going to take a break.
So bad. So bad. Hey, I only have 60 seconds for this one. It's quick. This episode of Ask the Tech Guys is brought to you by Wix Studio. I have 1 minute, 60 seconds to tell you about Wix Studio, the web platform for agencies and enterprises. So listen carefully. Here are a few things you can do from start to finish in a minute or less on Studio. Adapt your designs for every device with responsive AI. Expand Wix Studio's pre-made solutions with back-end and front-end APIs. Generate code and troubleshoot bugs with a built-in AI code assistant. Switch up the styling of hundreds of web pages. I'm talking fonts, layouts, colors, all with a single click. Add no-code animations and gradient backgrounds right in the editor. Start a design library. Package your code and UI in reusable full-stack apps. Oh, one more big one. Deliver everything your client needs in one smooth handover. My time's up, but the list keeps on going. Take a look at Wix Studio. You'll be blown away by what you can do. Step into Wix Studio and see for yourself. Go to Wix, W-I-X, Wix.com/studio, or click on the link on the show notes to find out more. You can also go to twit.tv/sponsors. There's a link there. W-I-X, Wix.com/studio. It's really mind-boggling. We've come such a long way. Are you old enough to have used Front Page?
I don't know.
Dreamweaver?
I did use Dreamweaver, yes.
Yeah. We've come so far.
Yeah, we really
from those days. It's thank goodness.
Hand coding all that HTML and CSS.
Hand coding, yeah.
I mean, I've made Flash websites even.
I think people got into this with MySpace.
Yeah.
Because you could do
MySpace
your
was
backgrounds or Neopets. You could do your
make custom,
and you'd learn HTML, and then
that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Sam Abuelsamid is a principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. He hosts the wonderful podcast all about automotive technology called Wheel Bearings. It's a good name at wheelbearings.media. He's also my car guy. We talk to Sam every month on the show. Hi, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
I see the Northern Lights. Were you able to see them in Ypsilanti?
Yeah, I actually drove about 20 minutes out of town to a very dark place,
light pollution.
a place called Pickerel Lake, which is a place that we love to go in the summertime. Take the dogs out there and go paddleboarding, and Daisy loves to ride around on my paddleboard on Pickerel Lake. So this is a shot I took on Friday night.
Gorgeous.
Of the Northern Lights over Pickerel Lake.
I never thought I would see the Northern Lights. I still won't.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them in many years. I mean, I know a lot of my friends in the Bay Area did see them.
Yes, I Reddit's full of
outside.
Reddit's full of photos from the Bay Area, even from Petaluma and Santa Rosa of the Lights. So it just I went out. I can't tell if that's Northern Lights or just a pretty sky.
Well, when it's 11 o'clock at night, that's usually a sign of Northern Lights. Yeah.
And they're not. Are they moving or no?
Oh yeah. You can. Okay. Yeah, it's like waves in the sky, like sheets of light. It's pretty wild to see. And when the further north you go, the more it looks like that. I was fortunate enough in the 1990s to spend quite a few winters in northern Sweden doing cold weather development on traction control and ABS systems. And, we were about, 50 miles from the Arctic Circle. And so there, you would see them most nights. You could go outside and you just see these sheets of green light shimmering in the sky. It was
very cool.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
So Sam, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on at Tesla?
Elon Musk is completely insane. I mean, that's as simple as that.
He is now fired.
He is a petty and spiteful man that, just does whatever whim comes into his brain.
So there's no logical explanation for firing 500 people, the entire Supercharger team, the crown jewel, by the way, of the Tesla Automotive network, because everybody knows people don't want to buy an electric vehicle unless it's easy to charge it. And Elon knew that from the beginning and built this incredible Supercharger network. And then, grasping defeat from the jaws of victory, every car company says, okay, fine, Elon, you win. We're going to use your NACS charging solution. And Elon starts to make money because cars are starting to use the Supercharger network. And then he gets mad at the woman running it and fires the whole team. Is that an accurate description?
Well, that is my understanding. When they announced, that they were going to lay off more than 10% of their global staff about 3 weeks ago, the head of the Supercharger team, whose name escapes me right now, actually she was in charge of all charging, so Superchargers and destination chargers, pushed back on Elon, said, "This is, we need more staff. We can't fire as many people as you want me to." And so he said, "Okay, you're fired." And then he proceeded to fire the entire team instead of just firing a portion.
Just to prove that he was right. Tanucci is her name, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Just to prove that he was right.
Well, to prove that he's the boss and what he says, what he tells people to do is what they must do. And if you don't like it, tough, you're out of here.
But he didn't stop there, did he? Because he's laying off other teams too.
Oh yeah, he apparently laid off the entire new product team.
They aren't designing any more new cars?
It depends on which hour of the day you ask him the question. At one point in the day, they've canceled the planned low cost $25,000 EV. But then on their earnings call last week, he said that, we'll be introducing a lower cost vehicle early in 2025. But it's based on our current products, which probably means it's just a further decontented Model 3 or Model Y that'll, maybe they can sell for $30,000, or at least claim that they're going to offer a $30,000 version, but never actually sell one at that price point.
And incidentally, you may say, well, this doesn't affect me. I'm never going to buy a Tesla. Who cares? But we have said the U.S. government and taxpayers have subsidized this company from day one. It's stunning. The arrogance and the stupidity of this man seems to have. Oh, and by the way, they decided to pay him $50 billion.
Wait, that went through?
Well, not exactly. The board wants to. Well, he told the board, "You must pay me $50 billion." And since the board is made up of just his friends and his brother, that have never provided any real corporate governance in that company, they said, okay, fine. But it has to be approved by shareholders. So the same pay package that they put out in 2018 that was struck down by a judge earlier this year, voided by a judge, will now be going up for a sharerotor vote again next month.
Yeah.
I'm less convinced of that this time.
All right.
It may not pass this time because, people's attitudes towards Musk are very different today.
I don't think he's worth
in 2018.
What we thought he was worth. That was why they paid him so much.
Well,
Rich Otto,
especially since he's a part-time CEO,
right?
Why would you make a part-timer, who's also got half a dozen other companies that he is either CEO or a de facto CEO of, why would you pay him that much money?
Rebecca Tanucci, gone. HR executive Ali Arabalo, gone. Public policy executive Rohan Patel, gone. These are all recent people quitting. Drew Baglino, former senior vice president of Powertrain and Energy Engineering. But the one that's really kind of setting the world on fire, this is from Futurism, is Rich Otto, who, nicely named, OTTO though, not AUTO. He's the head of product launches. He left after 7 years and wrote a scathing post he's since deleted on LinkedIn.
Oh, why did he delete it?
Well, we got it. It's okay. Futurism made a copy. It's a company I love, he wrote, and it has given me so much, but it has also taken its pound of flesh. Great companies are made up of equal parts great people and great products, and the latter are only possible when its people are thriving. The recent layoffs are rocking the company, and its morale have thrown out this harmony out of balance. It's hard to see the long game. It was time for him to make a change. So he's one of many executives leaving the sinking ship. The real question is, at this point, would you buy a Tesla?
No. I mean, personally,
seems like it's a risky proposition.
Well, I mean, Tesla's not going to go out of business anytime soon. We're not talking about Fisker here. Fisker is going to be bankrupt momentarily. If not, probably within the next month, they will declare bankruptcy, and it's unlikely that anyone will step up to buy them or save them. There are other EV startups that are in equally precarious positions. So Tesla has a lot of cash in the bank. They are still profitable. Yes, their sales are down, their revenues are down, and their profits are down.
But so are all EV sales, right? I mean, there is
not everybody.
No? All right.
No.
It feels like there's a crisis in electric vehicles in the U.S.
I think the crisis is overblown. The rate of growth has declined. In large part because, prices were still too high. People were concerned about the charging networks, and, interest rates are high, and, affordability is a problem.
That's true.
But there are quite a few manufacturers whose EV sales are up. Ford's EV sales were up significantly in the first quarter.
I see Mach-E's everywhere now. Everywhere. Yeah. Very popular.
And, Hyundai Motor Group, Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis, their sales are doing great. BMW is doing great. So there are a bunch of manufacturers who are doing quite well with their EVs. So Tesla just, Tesla still sells more EVs than anybody. They're just not selling as many as they were. And they are in no imminent danger of going bankrupt. So, I mean, if you really feel like you want a Tesla and, you don't mind giving your money to somebody as scummy as Elon Musk, then, you're fine. They're to the degree that Tesla has ever provided particularly good customer support, they will probably continue to do so.
You've never been a Tesla fan, I know.
Well, I have been a fan of what Tesla has done to promote EVs as a viable consumer product that, are a good solution for a lot of people. To prove that, they have done more to prove that, EVs are more than glorified golf carts than anybody. They've also done an amazing job, building out an EV charging infrastructure better than anybody else. They've done a vastly better job at that than Volkswagen did with Electrify America.
That's true.
Or
That's
EVgo
really
or anybody else.
That's why it's stunning that they would fire that team.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I mean, that's a success.
Blows my mind.
Just shows you can be a success and fail in this.
Yeah. I mean, my issue is with the way, Elon treats his employees. I also have an issue with his political leanings in the last few years. And also, my biggest issue has always been their approach to automated driving, which I think has been reckless and irresponsible.
Although I heard a rumor that he's going to have to put LiDAR in now, that he's like, he doesn't like LiDAR. That's why his FSD hasn't done so well, I think.
I mean, that's a big part of why FSD will never really work as well as they've claimed. Right. In the first quarter, Tesla was the biggest customer of Luminar, a LiDAR company.
Oh, interesting.
They bought $2 million worth of LiDAR sensors, which works out, at about $1,000 a pop for those iris sensors, works out to about 2,000 sensors.
That's not a lot.
In the past, Tesla has been, from time to time been buying Luminar LiDAR sensors, in small batches from time to time that they use for what's known as ground truth testing. So even if you're doing a camera only system, for testing purposes, what you want to have is another verifiable method of measuring the accuracy of your image detection algorithms. And so they call that ground truth, so an active sensor that can actually measure everything, which cameras cannot do. And so they've acknowledged that they've used that Elon now claims that they no longer need to do that. So it's not clear why they're buying these sensors. But we'll see, in the coming months. My guess is that what they may be considering, is using it for this robotaxi that they're supposed to unveil in August, which, will be a dedicated purpose-built robotaxi. But,
I didn't want to hijack your piece with this Elon thing. I just thought I'd ask you.
No,
I apologize because it stuns me.
Yeah.
The Cybertruck was a perfect example of an executive leading his company down the rosy path to failure. Now, they did get a boost because the Biden administration says they're going to put 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. That's a big boost for American EV makers, right?
Well, they haven't officially said that. That is what's reported to be coming.
Oh, I thought that was
supposed to be an announcement. No, there's reports that they're going to announce that on Tuesday. And so we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
But that would be good for American EV manufacturers, I think. Yeah,
potentially.
They also they already have these subsidies.
Depending on how depending on how they how it plays out. If you look at the history of the auto industry over the last 40, 50 years, back in the late 1970s, early 1980s, there was a lot of moves towards protectionism against Japanese manufacturers.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Right?
And the result was that Honda opened a factory in Ohio.
Right.
Toyota opened factories in Kentucky.
Yep.
And now, all of those manufacturers build as 75 to 80% of the cars that they sell in North America are built here. Yeah. And in fact, Toyota Camrys built in Kentucky have more U.S. domestic content than any of the quote unquote domestic brands, Ford, General Motors, or Stellantis. So, it's
I learned it wasn't something new every time you're on. I appreciate that.
So, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that, if the Chinese brands want to do business in the U.S., and depending on how these tariffs are structured, we'll probably see them, building factories in the U.S., Mexico, and perhaps even Canada to build vehicles in North America for sale here.
Do we want Chinese EVs? Are they good?
The ones I've driven are really good. Yeah. One of the things to keep in mind, there's a lot of discussion about, some of the Chinese EVs that are available at really low prices in China. Cars like the BYD Seagull, which, have, there's a lot of good things about those cars, but right now those cars probably do not meet U.S. crash safety standards as they're built today. So they would have to be modified to meet those. And also, a lot of the low-cost Chinese EVs tend to have much shorter ranges. Mm-hmm. They have part of the reason why they're lower cost is they use, smaller battery capacities. Yeah. And so they typically don't have a range of, maybe 100 to 120 miles at most, which what we've seen so far from U.S. consumers is they're not particularly interested in EVs with such a short range. They sell in very limited numbers. And I think until we have a lot more public charging infrastructure available everywhere that is reliable, it's unlikely that you'll get many American consumers to actually buy such short range EVs. So that means that they're going to have to offer EVs with longer ranges, which they do make. And I've driven a number of them. The Zeekr 001 is a fantastic car. The Xiaopeng P7, and there's others as well that are really good cars. And with some modifications to meet U.S. crash safety standards, they could probably do quite well here. They're not going to be $13,000 cars. But they could probably be very competitive.
Is this what you wanted to talk about?
To be honest, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, good. All right. I gave you a subject
go ahead and,
to vamp on. Yeah, it's just fascinating.
Play it by ear.
As long as we're talking about it, there's one other thing Elon has been banging a drum on that's driving me nuts. He's, for some reason, and maybe he has business associates associations with Russia? I'm not sure. But he's decided to say wrongly that Signal has security flaws and is promoting Telegram, which is not encrypted for most of its transactions. You have to specifically choose to encrypt. And even then, it's a roll your own encryption that we are not sure is completely secure. Whereas we know there is no vulnerability in Signal that hasn't been fixed long ago. The Signal is reliable and is a good choice, for the only choice really for strong encryption. Well, maybe not the only choice, but the one I would suggest for strong encryption. And why Elon is lying about it is unclear to me, except that
he's been saying a lot of positive things over the last couple of years about Russia and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, he's somehow, because this is echoing the rhetoric coming out of Telegram, which was invented by Pavel Durov. They called him the Mark Zuckerberg of Russia. Now, it's unclear how much Durov likes Russia, because they forced him to sell his Facebook clone to the Russian government, and he left the country. He lives in Dubai now. But there's no expert who will say, in fact, Matthew Green, one of our favorite cryptographers from Johns Hopkins, just had a long Twitter thread on this. No expert will say Telegram is secure and Signal is not. Signal is secure. And for Elon to imply that it's not, to a very large audience on Twitter, is very, very disappointing. And it's just one more reason to suspect this guy. I don't know what he's up to. I don't understand. He seems to be a little out of control. I guess that's the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, he definitely is. But even despite the some of the challenges, like firing the entire charging team, there are the charging network is not going to be shut down anytime soon, I hope. Although it can never be sure, but the Supercharger network is still the most reliable charging network out there. And as we start to hopefully, Ford and Rivian already have their vehicles have already been updated to allow them to use the superchargers directly with an adapter, and the expectation is that other manufacturers over the next several months will roll out similar updates. Now, without support on the Tesla side, it's not clear if and when that's actually going to happen. But hopefully that will continue to move forward. We'll continue to have some software support there, and EV drivers will have more options for reliable charging going forward. Elon has said, in the last few days that, they do plan to spend something like $500 million on continuing to expand and upgrade the supercharger network. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But there's a lot of uncertainty, but, I wouldn't panic just yet.
Sam Abuelsamid, wheelbearings.media is the place to go for his great Wheel Bearings podcast with Robbie and Nicole. And of course, he is a principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights. I read many quotes from you in the Ars Technica piece about Elon, and that's what made me think I better ask Sam about this.
Yeah, Jonathan's a friend of mine, so he reached out to me for that one.
It was a great piece.
Yeah,
and I recommend it.
Jonathan Gitlin does great work at Ars.
He does. Everybody at Ars is fantastic. We love Ars. And we love you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great afternoon. And I will talk to you in a couple hours, Leo, on TWiT.
Oh, well, even better. Maybe we'll bring this up again.
Sure.
Prepare yourself.
About it yet again.
I apologize for not knowing. I often forget who's going to be on. They tell me.
Yeah, well, it's different audiences for the shows too. So
and they tell me Tuesday, and by Sunday it's gone. So good. I'll see you in a few.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Love having Sam on TWiT. Here's the Matthew Green tweet storm, and he's pretty irate, frankly, about this campaign to undermine Signal. Matthew tweets, Telegram has launched a pretty intense campaign to malign Signal as insecure with assistance from Elon Musk. The goal seems to be get activists to switch away from encrypted Signal to mostly unencrypted Telegram. You can read, the entire thread if you want on X, but the point is, look, Signal's open source. Telegram is not. Telegram is unencrypted by default, which means, most of the people who switch to Telegram thinking they're getting a safer messaging platform will actually be much less safe. So he says finally, it's not weird for a CEO to say my product is better than your product, but when the claim is about security and critically, quote, you've made a deliberate decision not to add security for most users, which is what Telegram and Durov have done, then it starts to feel like malice or propaganda. We were talking about this. We have to all develop a very, very high intuition for what is propaganda, what is AI, what is not real. And it's not having somebody tell you something is fake. You have to genuinely investigate and learn.
Have curiosity at the very least. Skepticism is good in those instances. I mean, I'm completely, I've been fully moved into some sort of cynical camp where genuinely everything I read, I automatically assume it's just fake. And then I go and I do my due diligence.
Well, you see, and I stumble into these mistakes. Sam caught me in the mistake. I had been reading stories that I thought said that the administration had agreed to 100% tariffs on Chinese vehicles. That was just a rumor. And that's the other problem, is that many, many rumors are published these days.
Yeah, as if they're
so. And I really try most of the time not to repeat rumors unless I say specifically, it is rumored. They say, but sometimes I fall into that trap too. So,
well, yeah, and it can all kind of get gummed up after a while, and you're pulling apart.
Well, I read so many headlines. Exactly. I'm just constantly scanning for stories. So anyway, I apologize. I did not realize that was merely a rumor. We'll find out on Tuesday, right about when the AI starts to take over. So that's going to be great.
Also a rumor.
Oh, yeah, that's a rumor. All right. Finally, after long awaited, well, we're going to pause for a station identification, and then we're going to talk to the guy in the sunglasses. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. That there's Mikah Sargent. I'm Leo Laporte. And now into the Stargate with our next caller. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. What did you do for your mom?
I sent her, my grandma, and my sister all care packages. Because they're all mothers. Yeah, they're all mothers.
Oh,
I got sweet. Some goodies in the mail.
I sent a few texts.
Nice. That's great. Hello, Jason.
Hello, dark stranger Jason.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Sorry to keep you waiting so long, Jason. Thank you for your patience.
No, you have a show to run. I understand.
Well, or something.
How can we help?
Well, first I want to say I'm a Club TWiT member. I told you before that I listen to a lot of the old shows. I want y'all guys to stay on the air.
Thank you.
Because I like to, I'm limited in what I can do. So listening to things really helps occupy me. So I've been listening to I started back on episode 1 and I'm going up that way. So I had one, not why I called, but I was just curious if I think I'm around 380, 390. What has happened to Shuby, the guy used to have
Shuby. Yeah, Shuby's doing great. So Shuby was, I think, our first intern. Wow, I'm amazed that you remember that. He was such a cute kid. He was, I think, 16 or 17 when he started with TWiT back in the cottage days. He is now, let me see if I can find, he's done very well, by the way. Finished his college education. I try to remember, he emails me from time to time. I'm trying to remember what he was doing last time. He was working in marketing for one of the companies we advertise, and I just can't remember the name of it. But I probably, even if I did, I shouldn't say. But Shuby is successful. He's smart. He's doing really well. I'm so pleased you asked about him. One of my favorite, I could say it. He's a developer evangelist at Twilio. I believe that's Shuby. I was looking through my emails.
Well, that's good to hear that he succeeded. So,
yes, yeah. Smart kid. And I just he couldn't drive, so he would get the bus up from San Jose all the way up to Petaluma. It was like a 2-hour bus ride. And I remember one day he missed the bus and he was kind of freaked out. Wow. And so I gave him a ride home all the way to San Jose and back. Yeah, it's about a 2-hour drive.
That's
this kid was so dedicated, and he had such a good work ethic. He's done very well. So thank you for asking about Shuby. We love Shuby. Every once in a while I'll hear from him. Yeah.
Well, the reason I called, I wanted to tell you thank you for one of your sponsors that Delete Me. I work in criminal justice. I've done different things for like 33 years now. And I Google myself every once in a while to see.
That's scary, isn't it?
Well, I get death threats sometimes and threats. And so one day I Googled myself a few months ago, and like the second thing that came up when I clicked on it was my address, my age, my phone number, and a satellite map of my apartment complex.
Oh my word.
Right there. And it was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had heard you talk about the sponsor a few times, and I thought, you know what? I think now is the time to do it. So I joined that, and between them and cleaning up a few things on my own, now you can't find anything about me.
Wow,
so I wanted
that's
to tell
great.
you that sponsor I really was a little skeptical. Because you got to join for a year, but it's just in the first. You get 4 updates, I think, every quarter, and within the first, I'm still waiting on the second quarter update to come at the end of this month. But they've taken everything down, so it really. So that's what I was calling to let you know that that sponsor really did a good job.
I'm glad to hear that. We're pretty careful about picking sponsors. I'm almost always try to make it a sponsor we use.
Yeah.
In this case, Delete Me is something Lisa used for a couple of years to really do the same thing. I'm always very careful, but we can't vet everybody. So it's nice to get some feedback that it worked for you. And I'm so sorry that there was so much personal information about you on the net. It's going to leak back in, though, right?
Which is what's great about our sponsor.
You mentioned that because I kind of thought about, do I need to stay with them or not? But you, on a past show, you said it would just come back in.
You're never
so
done.
I figure,
this stuff is terrible.
It's probably an ongoing battle, but
it totally is.
Between that and you can on Google, they let you enter your information and they notify you when your stuff comes up, because Delete Me took some stuff down, but it still showed up in a Google search and you see the first sentence or two, but when you would click on it, then it's not there, but you would still see part of it. So I took care of that part myself, but their service is really great.
Yeah.
And in my field, I really need it because, I was shocked. It's like right there, even a picture of the apartment complex entrance with the pool and everything, with my apartment number and the phone number. And it was like, that's crazy. So
that's awesome. So glad that it's worked for
and
you.
A great supplement for the tool from Delete Me that I want to recommend to you and to others. There's an app that's been created by Consumer Reports. It's called Permission Slip. And I have been using Permission Slip. It's also one that you can put in some of your information and it will automatically submit to the places that allow that automatic submission. And it is, given that it's from Consumer Reports, a completely free app that comes from this nonprofit organization. And I found it great, again, as a supplement, because where Delete Me goes through and has removed the addresses, the phone numbers, that kind of thing from all of those different kind of data brokers, what Permission Slip does is it goes into some of the businesses that exist online. And so if you're no longer part of, say, for years you had a Starbucks account and maybe you no longer use Starbucks anymore, they may still have your information. Consumer Reports can act on your behalf to get that removed from there. For some reason, Home Depot and Lowe's, those stores are some of the biggest data grabbers among.
Really?
Yeah. Don't know why, but they are. And so Consumer Reports has helped me remove my information from them. And so, yeah, I found that it's a great, again, it's a supplement. Slip. Yeah, it's called Permission Slip by CR. And it has been really awesome. I get notifications like once a week saying, hey, here are 5 more that we auto submitted to these companies.
Oh, man.
And in the cases where these companies sometimes will have policies where it says that someone can't act on your behalf. And so you'll get an email from that company saying, we didn't delete any of your information, but then you have access to that company so you can go through and do the process yourself. So I've been able to find places that I didn't even realize had my information because of Consumer Reports permission slip.
I'm downloading it right now. That's a great tip.
Well, thanks for that tip. Yeah, I'm gonna get that after myself too.
It's an endless process, and all I can say every time this comes up is, Congress, get off your behind and act on a comprehensive data privacy law in the United States. We are the last developed nation not to have one, and it's appalling. But it really makes me question, frankly, the integrity of Congress that they don't want to do it. It just seems like a natural. All right. I'll get off my soapbox.
I'm curious. I got a notification on Twitter from someone who mentioned that they were disappointed about the OLED iPads because they wouldn't be able to use the OLED iPads because of eye sensitivity. And it made me want to ask you, Jason, because I remember you talking to us before. For those who are listening and not watching, if you were watching, you would see Jason currently looks like the Hulk. He's very green right now. The Hulk, actually, I should say the cool Hulk, because he's also wearing sunglasses. All of that is to protect, if I remember correctly, you from migraines that you get from light sensitivity, correct?
Correct. The last time, and I've seen other neurologists too, there's a speculation it could be a seizure and not a migraine, but it's academic because they still can't solve it. But
same symptoms, yeah.
Yes, lights bother me, and
right.
I'm using a Samsung S9 phone, and I have a duplicate Samsung S9 phone. I think they have OLED screens. I have the blue light filter on. I mentioned last time everybody kind of looks like The Simpsons. It's turned up all the way, but I have the same brightness, the same everything. And my backup phone, I figured, because this one's cracked, I can't even use the same phone. Only this one works. Whoa. And even then I can't use it for very long. So, I'm limited in what devices I can use. I can't watch TV very long. I still have an old Sony HD 40-inch TV because none of the new ones work for me. The 4K, it's like it's too much detail for my brain on top of being bright.
Yeah.
It's a pain. It's been
my
Texas
daughter
here.
My daughter, it's LEDs, and so LED backlights are bad, and we're hoping that OLEDs will not be bad. She has not had problem with OLED screens, but again, everybody's different, and it depends what it is. But yeah, the flickering, I think it is on LEDs that gives her a migraine. It's a painless migraine, but it's got all the other symptoms. The aura. Yeah, it's got the aura, and it's really
well. One light may not bother me one day, and the next day it bothers me. So I don't really know what the deal is.
It's hard to track down the source. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're able to work.
Buy your daughter? Did you buy your daughter that a lay lamp I told you about? That's the green thing I've got in front of me now.
I did. I offered it to her. She wouldn't buy it. I mean, she wouldn't take it.
Okay.
She's found a way. She's fine. She's found a way to live, and everybody's got to find their way to make it. She knows that I would gladly support her with whatever she needs. I sent her the lamp. I said, "Let me get you this." And she said, no. She travels pretty light. Yeah. She doesn't want a lot of stuff. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah, she's not big into a bunch of tech. From her comedy routines, she's kind of...
You've seen her comedy? Yeah.
Some of it, on Instagram. Yeah.
She's not into tech. I did say, the new iPads are going to be OLED, and she showed this much interest. It's so funny. Neither of my kids, both millennials, are interested in iPads at all. No interest at all. And even though Henry uses computers to do video editing, he doesn't even really understand how they work either. Every once in a while, he'll call me up. He calls a Type-C charger. He has a funny word for it. He's like my mom.
Wow,
it's
really?
it's like it skips a generation.
That's so funny.
Anyway, hey Chris, it's great to talk to you,
Jason,
I'm sorry. I am so glad that you can work even with your disability. I think that's really great. And I'm sorry we kept you on hold so long.
No, it's fine. I appreciate you putting me on, and thank you, and have a good day.
Great
you
tips.
Too. Thanks so much.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Nice to know we have a sponsor that does the job.
Yeah, it's always good to hear, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. As Harold's saying, are you sure he's your son? Pretty sure. Yeah. He's celebrating Mother's Day today, so I'm pretty sure.
Too, you kind of have two options, at least anecdotally it seems. There are two options when it comes to sort of family. You either go the way of your parent or you go the complete opposite. Or really far away from what your parent does.
Well, the irony is they're both performers.
Yeah.
So
there's an aspect of you in
the one thing I said to them always was, whatever you do, don't get into, showbiz in any way, shape, or form.
And they said,
and that's exactly what they did.
The opposite of what you say, Father, because you are my father and I'm not going to listen.
I want to be an influencer. Oh, God. All right. Let's take a little, what should we do? Let's take a call. Let's do an email. Let's do a voicemail. Let's do something.
All right. Let's do another call.
Another call. John Ashley.
Remember, *6 to unmute yourself. Deep doop. Do you know the pitches?
No. Do you?
No.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Patrick. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello,
welcome.
Patrick.
What can we do for you?
I wanted to say I've been watching the show for a while. Leo, I've sent you with the screensavers. You're so wonderful.
Thank you.
I wanted to Wi-Fi my house. It seems to be on one side of the house I get internet, and the other side I don't. And I was wondering, is there a stronger router that you can recommend?
What are you using right now?
Maybe some other system.
How are you doing it right now?
Right now, I just have one router. It's a Belkin router. It's older, so it needs to be updated. So I was wondering, what you could recommend. The house is 7,000 square feet.
Oh, it's huge. Okay.
Yes.
So is it all one level or is it multi-level?
Multi-level.
Okay. And is the construction older or newer?
Older.
Okay. Older houses have more trouble with Wi-Fi because they're not wood and drywall. They sometimes have other materials, including metal, which is the worst in the wall. If you have plaster, a lot of times they put a grid up and they plaster over the grid. There's older houses that have horsehair in the wall. There's all sorts of materials that are not friendly to Wi-Fi. But on a house that big, one router is not going to do the job. The folks who make the Plume router had a great metaphor. I've mentioned it before. They said it's like a lamp. You wouldn't try to read in the bedroom from a lamp in your living room. And Wi-Fi, even though it's not visible, is the same kind of electromagnetic radiation. You need to create pools of Wi-Fi all over the house. Mm-hmm. You love your Eero. Is that still a recommendation, you think?
Yeah, I have yet to stop recommending the Eero as a system for having Wi-Fi around the home.
Amazon bought this company a few years ago. They were a sponsor, as many of our sponsors. They sponsor ads, get picked up by Wi-Fi, and stop advertising. By Amazon. Stop advertising. It happens every freaking time. So, but I think they really make good stuff. Mm-hmm. They were one of the first to do what's called mesh Wi-Fi, and the reason this is a good way to go, you have the single router. Sometimes people try to use extenders, like they'll take the router and then they'll extend it 100 feet, and then another 100 feet, and then 100 feet. The problem with extenders is every extender cuts it in half because they are not duplex. They can't both send and receive at this end and talk to the main router. So half the time they're talking to the main router, half the time they're talking to your computer. Mm-hmm. They literally cut the speed in half. Mesh does not work that way. Mesh has a separate radio frequency for talking to the router and can talk at the same time to your computer. So they are, in theory, the full speed. And in fact, that's probably your experience, right?
Yes, exactly.
You buy an Eero base station and then you buy a beacon, And you can have many beacons. It really depends on the number and the configuration of the house and the square footage of the house. You want to kind of, if you can, get them as close to line of sight as possible. That's often not possible. But
yeah, and it's been my experience because so in my home, it's 3 stories, and the floor is kind of like the basement and entryway, and then the living space, and then the bedrooms are on the 3rd floor. And I have the router actually currently on the 3rd floor because that's where my home office is. And then I have a beacon on the 2nd floor and a beacon on the 1st floor, and they don't have line of sight, but because they're able to communicate through the floor. They get enough of a signal.
Yeah.
And so they're able to communicate. And what's great too about Eero is that they do offer pretty good deals on multi-pack packages. So you can kind of, you pay one lump sum and you're able to spread that Wi-Fi throughout your whole home.
And they still sell, the base Eeros that they did in the very early days, the Eeros, all the way up to the newest Eero, the Eero Max 7, which just came out, which is going to use, and as you can see, is quite expensive. Holy camole. Our most advanced Wi-Fi system ever is also our most expensive at $1,700.
That's a 3-pack.
Yeah. You get a base station and 2 beacons. You don't need that.
No.
Unless look, if you've got a lot of money and you want a lot of speed, okay. But you don't have to go with that. I think the Eero 6 is probably.
I agree.
Or the Eero Pro 6. What do you have?
That's what I have, the Eero Pro 6.
Okay. So this is $400. You get a base station and a couple of beacons. It doesn't look like it makes a distinction between the base station.
Actually, and that's because they are not beacons. They are also full on.
So each of them is a base station.
Yeah, each of them can serve as a base station.
Yeah.
But in this case, one serves as the base station, the other 2 serve as extenders. But yeah, each one could technically be a base station.
So this is expensive. There's one other expense you should be aware of, and that's called Eero Plus. You don't have to buy Eero Plus.
You do not.
It's $99 a year, but it gives you some very nice security features. If you've got kids, it has, protection.
Yeah, and you get sort of network level ad blocking if you want that. You get dynamic DNS.
You also get 1Password. You get a password manager.
I love that it's got a password manager for free. Very rarely do I ever use it, but once in a blue moon, I'll download malware bytes and just do a scan of my Mac. So if you have, actually it works on Windows as well. It's virus protection stuff. And those are all included as part of the subscription.
So there are many other companies that make mesh systems. There's the VLOP from Linksys. There's the Orbi from Netgear. And they all are fine. I don't recommend the Ubiquitys or the Google Wi-Fi. Our experience with those is they're not ideal, but I think the Eero is still the kind of the king of the hill on all this. They were the first. In fact, they were a Kickstarter when they first started way back when, and then they've had great success because they make a good product. So you're talking $300 or $400 depending on how many beacons you need. I guess they're not beacons anymore. How many stations you need, and the nice thing is you can buy a couple, see how far that gets you, and then buy another one if you need to get even to the other side of the house. Yeah, even farther.
And I don't know if you are, but if you happen to be an Amazon Echo user, it's kind of cool because you can also use the newer generations of Amazon Echoes as beacons themselves. Amazon has an integration that allows those to serve as Wi-Fi access points. So that's just an added benefit if you happen to be an Echo user, but I know those people are few and far between these days.
Yeah. Does that help? Anything else you'd like to know?
No, that sounds wonderful. And thank you. You probably saved me hours and days of research, and I'd probably get the wrong thing anyway. Thank you so much. You're always the best.
Right on. Hey, it's great to talk to you.
Good luck.
Thanks for watching all these years. I appreciate it. We're going to keep doing it, by the way. I am determined, even though it looks like, it's hard to say, looks like we're going to probably have to close the studio at the end of the year just because it's very expensive to run it. And send everybody home. We'll hope to keep most of the staff and do shows from my home, and then have editors at their home and so forth. That'll save us, a couple $100,000 a year. And honestly, we can't spend money we don't have. Now, I would like to keep the studio. I would like to grow the network. But it all comes down to two things: advertisers, and we're working as hard as we can to sell these shows, but you, the club members. And we are so grateful to our club members who have helped us so much. But we need a few more. If Lisa tells me the numbers and I go, oh God. And then she says, it's okay. If we got 5% of our audience, that's all we need to join the club. We would be financially solvent. We would be go, go, go. So right now it's about a little less than 2%. So we've got a little ways to go. So if you watch more, all I ask, if you watch more than one of our shows a week, I'll give you a freebie if you don't watch more than one a week. But if you watch one show a week, fine. 2 shows a week, join the club. It's $7 a month. There are real benefits, ad-free versions of all the shows, lots of extra content. Okay. The thing we did on Saturday or Friday, wasn't that fun?
Oh, but people liked it.
We got a couple hundred people watching us watch a movie in our house.
And people were saying
it was
they
interesting.
Had a great time.
The thing about the club and the Discord especially is it's a group of people who are smart, interesting people that you get to hang out with. Not just us, but everybody. And that makes it so cool. It's a community, and I love that part. So join the community. $7 a month, cheaper than a country club, and a lot more fun. twit.tv/clubtwit if you'd like to know more. That's all. That's all I got to say. Mr. John Ashley, which way should I go here?
How about another caller?
Let's please. Hello, caller. What's your first name and what city are you calling from?
This is Mike from Long Island.
Man, you sound good, Mike. You sound so good. Are you a professional broadcaster?
No, I'm just on my iPhone.
Oh, that is a great sound.
Yeah, it's rich.
Sounds much better than a phone. Well, it's nice to meet you, Mike. What can we do for you?
My primary question is probably best for Andy Anako, but hopefully you guys can help out.
If it's about opera, I have got nothing for you.
No. You may know that ComiXology got absorbed into the board of Kindle.
Yeah.
And so I have, between books and comic books, I must have 7,000 or 8,000 distinct entities in there within the blob of the Kindle app. Is there any way to separate out into collections, categories, something like that?
I think there is. Of course, there is. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, so do you ever use the Kindle app on your computer?
Never.
That might make this a little bit easier. So what I do, I have quite a few. Let me see what they call them, actually. Collections.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So I have quite a few collections. It's not showing up. It's interesting. Let me use the Kindle Classic app. They have 2 apps, just like Lightroom. There's Kindle and Kindle Classic. And for some reason, they continue to offer both. I'm not sure. Let me launch the Kindle Classic app and see. Yeah, so it's not showing up on the regular Kindle app, but it definitely shows up on the Kindle Classics app. On the left-hand side, I don't know why it's not. Yeah. Oh, support is ending October 31st, 2023. Screw you. All right. So, let me show you on the Kindle Classic anyway. There's collections. I can press plus, make a new collection, and I could say comics, for instance. I'm sure you're going to be much more granular. You're going to say DC, Marvel, etc.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And then you're going to find your comics and you're going to move them. Here's
by
one.
Hand.
Yeah.
By hand. Thousands of it.
Well, that's a good question. Can you do it more flexibly? So you're aware of this, but you want a better way to do this.
If there is one. It doesn't sound like it is. They haven't put a lot of TLC into this.
It is very disappointing.
They absorbed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even seeing
You're right. It is a better question for Andy. Andy has mentioned a new comic book reader that he uses, and I'm trying to remember. Have you seen him talk about it on Mac Break Week?
I have not.
Let me go back. Let me go to MBW Picks. Oh, the website. Okay. So they're also saying, yeah, in fact, that's one of the reasons I think that they're deprecating the apps is they really want you to use read.amazon.com, which is Kindle on the website. And that has also all of the, this looks just like Kindle Classic. Isn't that funny? So let me see if I can, you can show this. Can I select, one way would be like, can I select?
Right, like shift click.
Kindle app is required. Go away. You Amazon. Have I told you I hate you? All right. It's loading this. I don't want to load it. I was just wondering if I can shift click and select multiple things. Let's see. Where's my comics? I don't. There's The Watchmen. That's a comic. Can I? No. See, it's opening it each time.
Yeah, and I'm not even seeing anywhere to, if I did create a collection, where that would show up here. Why is this so bad?
Why is this so bad, Amazon?
It would appear like it's not possible.
You can just go to Amazon.com, go to your account, and manage your books, comics, etc. There, Joe is saying. So not read.amazon.com, but just your basic Amazon account. This is that's interesting. But that is only for stuff you've purchased on Amazon. Did comic books all come from ComiXology and Amazon?
Oh, and then I am able to select. Let's see, I'll choose comics.
So where are you doing that?
I clicked on that link that Joe provided in the Discord, that exact link.
Okay.
And then from there, I just clicked on books and I was able to see my digital content.
Okay. So we can put this link in the show notes. Oh, I see where, you can, if you go to digital content, you can see what you've purchased.
Yeah. And then once you go there, if you look in the top,
you can then select
and it has
individuals. And you can say,
and then you have that add to collections button
add
at
to
the
collections.
End? Yeah.
So that does make it a little bit simpler. You still have to kind of click. I wonder if I can do a shift.
I can't imagine clicking every single issue.
I know. I don't blame you. Yeah. Boy, that's just really not
ideal.
Can I do it would be nice if you could do a search. Chunky comic reader for iOS and perfect viewer for Android. Thank you, Lee. We're just looking at the Club TWiT. This is not modern.
No,
not a modern way to manage a collection. But unfortunately, and this is okay. So if people say, well, what's wrong with Amazon? This is a perfect example of a company being very nice to customers right up to the point where they don't have to be.
Yeah.
And as soon as they own ComiXology and all the means of distributing this stuff, then they don't have to worry about it. They're going to assign the programmers somewhere else. Because where are you going to go? What are you going to do? We need a solution. ComiXology was so good. Now here's the problem also though is going to be you've got these, you purchased them, so you've got them in there. Oh, I think he recommended panels as well, right?
I remember panels.
I think you remembered panels
because it had the auto read function where it zoomed properly or something like that.
But this is are you on Mac or Windows?
Well, I was really looking to do this
on
to set
Kindle.
this up so that Kindle on my iPad.
Kindle on your iPad. Hey, at least it's in beautiful color.
Yeah.
So panels is a comic reader on the iPad as well.
But if you bought them with ComiXology, aren't they going to have DRM?
If you can export them as CBR, CBZ, which is a typical comic stuff, it actually can read it. Wow, this is actually very impressive. It supports something called OPDS, which is a library. This is good. It supports CBR, which is, I think, the comic book reader, CBZ, CB7, PDF, EPUB. So you might be able to get it out of, you know what, if you can't, here's the deal. Download something called Calibre, okay? Or Calibre.
Calibre.
it's kind of a play on words. The calibre-ebook program, the LIBRE stands for free,
Libra,
right?
yeah.
Because it's an open source free program. Ebook manager, and it will take the copy protection off of anything, move it. You have to get an extension, but they're widely available. It's easy to figure it out. That's how for instance, the reason I know this is I just moved all my Amazon books to Kobo. Yeah. Because I got a Kobo reader and I wanted all my Amazon books on here. Calibre did it. Calibre did it painlessly. It lets you do all the collection stuff you want to do and manage it. And then maybe export it to another reader. I don't know if they have a version for iOS of Calibre. They don't. This is a wonderful program, and it's open source and it's free. So you can strip out copy protection, maybe then export it as a CBR and read it in a better reader, and maybe a reader that would do a better job. DRM is the issue. That's the issue. So Calibre still can, because I know I just did move all my stuff, copy protected stuff from Amazon's Kindle library. I bought it. Don't give me a hard time. And I moved it over to Kobo. Right?
Whatever reader you want if you actually paid hard money for it.
Yeah. I mean, I support the authors I'm reading, of course.
Exactly. It's been purchased.
In fact, many of these books.
And you're not sharing it with other people.
I bought twice. Hyperion, I bought both the Audible version and the Kindle
end
version.
Up buying both versions.
Yeah. I often like to read it and listen to it at the same time.
I'll do that too sometimes, yeah.
So
Whisper Sync.
It's painful.
Yeah. It's not.
But there's a way to do it, I think.
It's involved, but if you've got your travel pillow and if you've got the time.
Were you napping while you were waiting to get on? Tell the truth.
No. It's just convenience.
It's comfy. I don't blame you.
Yeah. I was on a flight a while ago and I thought I should get a travel pillow. And then I would walk past the store every time. No, I don't need one. And every time I'd get on a new flight, I was thinking, why did I not get a travel pillow? The sad thing is I end up buying one every trip because I always forget it or lose it or anyway. So Panels, which Andy did recommend and is available on the iPad, does have very good organizational capabilities. So, because as anybody who reads comics knows, that's part of the fun, isn't it?
That's a big thing, right? So it has library organization, intuitive tools for easy navigation, they say. It actually looks pretty great. So you could use Calibre, put it on your Dropbox, import it from the Dropbox onto your iPad, or use iCloud Drive, whatever drive you want to use. And that sounds like a good way to do this. And I do remember Andy recommending this. I will ask him on Wednesday, though. Remember, Mac Break Weekly is Wednesday this week because of the Google I.O. conference. Let's see. In-app purchases. I wish they would just say how much it's going to be. Just tell me. How much is it going to be? Don't they say that anywhere? Here it is. It's free to use. You can subscribe for $12 a year. That seems like a good deal.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. I think they might even have a universal price, so you don't have to subscribe. There are others. I see Comic Book Viewer, Manga Storm, CBR, Dark Horse Comics, but I do remember Andy saying he liked Panels, and the reviews are very positive for this, and it has the collection capability, so that's worth it. That's what you want to do. So export it from Amazon using Calibre, put it in, it's going to be CBR, I think, is the comic book reader form, and you can then import it, put it on a cloud and import it. Okay. Let us know how it works out, okay?
Okay, I will do.
So how many comic books?
Oh, thousands.
And what is your preferred flavor?
Ooh, yeah.
These days there's not that much new content that comes out that I like, but when they reprint the older stuff, or reprint.
All-time favorite. All-time favorite.
Oh,
pick one. Anyone.
Believe it or not, I'm a fan of the really old stuff, the Justice Society, not the Justice League.
There you go. It's the stuff you grew up with, I'm gonna guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. That's the stuff we all love. I love Crazy Cat. He throws a brick. And I'm just kidding. That was from the 30s.
Ignatz threw the brick.
Ignatz, see? He knows. Yeah. He knows Ignatz and the brick.
And Mike is sitting there saying, what are these guys talking about?
I'm just Google searching it. Then I'll be able to
Crazy Cat was awesome. I grew up, let me think. It was DC. I was a Batman, Superman kind of guy, and I really liked the DC stuff. Yeah. But then I just showed one of my favorite all time. In fact, Amy Webb says it's the greatest novel ever written, which is The Watchmen. And that is fairly modern and real, I guess.
I love Watchmen. That's great stuff.
It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for the question.
You've given me a project.
You got a little. I was so impressed with how Calibre worked. I did need to download a copy protection removal extension, but the documentation even tells you what to get, or you can Google it and find it. It's very straightforward. It's an extension. You need 2 extensions. Takes the copy protection off. I was able to move hundreds of titles in practically no time over to this Kobo Libra. Although they should have called it the Cobra. They kind of missed the boat, didn't they? Let me go to my my library. Now I have to say, I foolishly, I don't know why I did this, put every one of them on the Kobo, but it's got so much space that I basically put 140. It says 143 books on here. Every book ever. It's cool. Here's a book, for instance, Infinite Jest. I've been carrying around. Weighs about 20 pounds. I've been carrying this sucker around. Now I can just have it in here and pretend to read it.
And you've gotten to the second page. Good for you.
Yeah, no, I've gotten a little farther back. And why is the text so big? I better fix that right away. That's gigantic.
You're revealing
ginormous. No, I don't read it like that. I don't know why that one is so big. There we go. That's a little bit.
I'm calling your eye doctor. No, I'm kidding.
I do reveal that I read it in dark mode only because I don't want to wake Lisa up. It casts less light, right?
I heard Steve Gibson say that he reads in with a black background with a sepia text. What an
I think you want
choice.
The most contrast you can get.
Yeah, maybe he said a white background with sepia text, but I know the text was sepia. I thought interesting.
I'm liking this color Cobra.
Might as well.
Call it the Cobra. Should have called it Cobra because you can see the color covers. That's kind of nice, but it's not a great color for comics. It's not. It's a little washed out, right? This is a French comic book. I don't know why I have a French comic book, but I do.
Oui. I know. When I looked at that, I thought, can he read all of that? That's cool.
Yeah, it's good practice. Palais de l'Ombrière. I can't understand it, but I can read it. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks so much.
You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. There's Mikah Sargent.
Hello, there's Leo Laporte. I don't know why we always go. It's because right? That there.
It can't be that here. That here is Leo Laporte would not make a lot of sense.
No.
This here is Leo Laporte. So what should can I reach back and stretch my my limbs?
Stretch your arms.
In Tai Chi, we call this crane drying its wings.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. I love Tai Chi's fun because they have crazy fun names for all the moves.
And I was just going back through the Wheel of Time, and one of the things I love is the sword stances.
Oh yeah.
And
great sword stances.
The names they have for them are just wild.
That's very much like Tai Chi.
Cat traipses through through the foreground or something.
It's a mnemonic because it helps you remember it. This is from Claudia. Hi, Claudia. She ends it with help. So I guess we better help.
We will do our best.
I would like to silence an iOS message group from midnight to 9 a.m. on weekends. Yeah, me too. I'm able to create a focus on iOS that allows me to silence multiple people from midnight to 9 a.m. This works if the message came from one of them. But if the message came from that same person from the message group, it doesn't work. So she can silence individuals in focus, but the group's still doing it. I know I can silence a group by selecting hide alerts from the group, but I want this to happen automatically from midnight to 9 a.m. So this is the question from Claudia. Is there a way to silence messages that come from a group for a specific time range? Mikah Sargent, iOS Today host.
I am double checking that this is still not a feature. And the answer is this is still not a feature. It is a great question. And I
seems limiting. I mean, that's the kind of thing you'd want to do.
You should be it would be nice if you could take a group message and say, look, from this time to this time, don't let those group messages come through. I will say, just in general, you can turn on from 12 to 9, do not disturb, and then those group messages won't come through. And you can instead say, hey, from 12 to 9, I'm only allowing certain people through. So you have the choice to say, in your focus filters, you can say, I want it so that everybody but these people can talk to me, or the reverse, that only these people can talk to me. So you don't necessarily have to, like, what I'm trying to argue is that if you don't want to get notifications from a group chat from midnight to 9, because maybe that's when you sleep, it's probably not a good idea to let most messages come through from midnight to 9, right? You're trying to sleep. So if there are particular people in your life that you want to make sure can still get through during those times, just set that focus filter and say, you know, Aunt Claudia can talk to me from midnight to 9 because she needs to be able to, but you're probably trying to make it so that most people can't get in touch over text that way. So I think it's even though you can't just, because of, looked in shortcuts to double check, and you can't turn off a group message alert specifically.
But can't you just turn off all alerts?
Yeah. And that's what I'm arguing that you should do.
Yeah.
Because you can turn off all alerts, but you can tell the system, I want all alerts off, but my husband, my wife, this person can still get through to me.
Rings twice.
Or someone, if someone calls twice, they get to get through. Yeah. So that's what I suggest you do instead. Maybe one day that's a feature that Apple will add in shortcuts. They add features all the time. But for now, that's probably
I used to let family members get through, emergency.
Mm-hmm.
But then my daughter called me in the early wee hours of the morning. She said, "Oh, I thought you'd be silenced. I didn't."
So it was like
not for you. I'm not, but now I am. Okay.
Was it as an intention that you would see the missed call?
Yeah.
And then
or she'd leave a message.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, she does that all the time.
Why call anyway? But
she just called now. She knows I'm doing a show, but I think she figures, well, maybe he got fired. And B, if he didn't, I can leave a message. I don't know what she
Interesting. Not a texter. That's interesting.
She doesn't like texting. She says she'll do it, but she doesn't like it. So I saw the call. I said, well, what's up? You got a problem?
One more reason for me to not have
She
kids.
said, I wanted to wish him a happy Mother's Day. And I thought, well.
Oh, how nice.
Well, here it is. She says, oh, I finally memorized Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes. Thank you, dear. I love my daughter. You know what? Your kids, you'll never know. But your kids, well, maybe you will.
I will.
You're going to have kids?
Yes.
Good. You will know.
But I'm going to tell them, don't call me. No, I'm just kidding.
You'll do things for your kids you would never do for any other human in the world.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. John Ashley, you're like a son to me. What should I do now? He says, no, take it back.
I'm going to pick up on it.
I was going to put you in my will, but I guess not now. Who should we? Oh, hello. Hello. Press.
Who's on?
You're
Who's
on.
on first?
You're on, my friend. You are. What's your first name and where you calling? There he is.
Oh, there he is. Michael Stevenson. I'm in Bonnie Lake most of the time, but now I'm in Phoenix. Remember I called?
I do.
Back when you first started, and I took you on a video tour out there of Bonnie Lake.
Beautiful Bonnie Lake. But you decided it was you needed to be. It was too cool up there, and you wanted some heat.
Well, how do you know where I am?
You said you're in Phoenix.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
No, I read your mind, I guess. Okay.
Okay, so now that I've complicated my life by having 2 homes that I go back and forth from.
You lucky fella. Yes.
Yeah. So I have remote PC on all my devices, so I can go back and forth between the devices I have.
Very smart.
Pull files, or if I have software at home that I don't have down here. Now I'm a Windows guy, okay? So I use that, but I've had cases down here in Phoenix where my routers and or the Cox cable boxes, they go offline. So I need to, if I was here, I would go unplug them and plug them back in, right? And they would reboot. And kind of vice versa. If I'm down here and something's going wrong, with my house Internet of Things in Bonnie Lake, if the internet goes down, I have Eero, by the way, it works great. If I was home, I would go unplug and then I would reboot, correct?
Yes.
So there are things now that I've never heard you guys ever talk about. It's called an automatic rebooter for routers.
Oh.
Keep Connect Router Rebooter.
Yes.
It monitors your connectivity and resets them. Have you ever bought? So can you buy one of those, Leo, and check it out?
This is what I do too. I say, Leo, will you buy one? And let me.
I have heard of these. I'm trying to remember. I wonder if Stacy or somebody had one of these. They're not expensive. They're $50 bucks.
Yeah. I'm looking at some here in the search box of our favorite company based in Seattle. And if you type in router restart plug, that's what I typed in. Yeah, because I didn't do it because I wanted to talk to you guys first, and this was way back last year. Because I did not want to complicate it. I didn't want to make things worse. Sometimes, see, I'm a gadget guy, and you don't have to buy gadgets, to complicate your life more because then they quit working.
Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. So I'm looking at the reviews on this. Of course, on their own page, all the reviews are very positive.
Of course,
but Amazon also sells them. And so I'm looking at the reviews. They're 4.4 out of 5, but there are a handful of 1-star reviews. Did not work as expected. No interface to plug unless you pay for it. Sounds like everybody who's complaining is complaining because you have to subscribe.
Of course.
Yeah.
But just like you guys are saying, if we want great service and we want great shows and content like you, we now need to pay.
I should buy.
We need to do that.
Yeah,
to get,
I agree, and I doubt it's very expensive. Now, this is one issue that you should keep in mind. It's 2.4 gigahertz only.
Ooh.
And I'm seeing one review that says this doesn't work with 5 gigahertz routers. But you're going to have.
But you got dual.
Well, it's only power. Yeah, it's only power. No, yeah, but in theory, it's only power on, power off. But I guess it's hooked into the internet.
Yeah,
and
so
then
it's my understanding.
And then when it's sent.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the way that it's supposed to work is it sits there connected to the network, and the moment that it loses its Wi-Fi connection, then it turns off. So as long as you have a dual band router and you connect it to the 2.4 gigahertz portion of your router, this will be fine. This will work.
Yeah, they the review that I read said that you need to have different names for 2.4.
Oh, is it one of those?
Gigahertz.
Oh, I hope that's
okay.
So
the other thing that you're doing research. The other thing that I've had happen down here in Phoenix, because it's a brand new modern home, and if there's any electricians in the portal or in the chat room, all of the breakers, they all seem to pop occasionally because they're so sensitive that they don't want somebody like me to get electrocuted. As I'm trying to do something.
Yeah.
So they pop all the time.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, it's very annoying. Because if it pops on something like your refrigerator here in the kitchen, in the main kitchen, it pops and I'm not here, guess what? Everything melts.
Oh, no.
Right. And also a problem is that your sprinkler system timer box is on a breaker.
Right.
And if that pops, guess what? You don't get any water to all your investment plants.
Well, you ought to do what my dad did. You just get yourself a copper penny and you put it across the fuse. No, I probably shouldn't do that.
But there is a
But you're going to say
there is a fix because it was under warranty. I had the electrician or the company come out on a trouble ticket.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
And
be
the guy,
popping. Yeah.
No, well, and he says they do, and we can't fix them, with the current code.
Oh wow!
Current building code.
On.
So he said, wink, wink.
No.
If you'll go to the local big box store and get an old-fashioned 20 amp breaker, an old-fashioned one that doesn't have a pigtail for a GFI or doesn't have any of that, just get an old-fashioned one for $8. I'll be happy to put it in for you.
Oh, that's nice.
But the thing I got was, from Amazon, there are power monitors, that do the same thing. So you plug it into the same kind of duplex plug that you have your refrigerator on. And this box is on, it hooks up to your Wi-Fi. And the minute that the power goes out on that plug, it sends you a text and an email.
Nice.
And I bought that. Yeah, very nice. I bought it. It works. And the brand name is Spool, Spool. And they're on Amazon. And it's worked flawlessly because I hooked it up and tested about 30 different times. Plug it in. And then I would unplug it, and I would get a text and an email. So if anybody's looking for a flawless,
here's another recommendation. This comes from Leviton. It's the Leviton Load Center. It has optional smart circuit breakers that you can remotely turn on and off from anywhere. So you'd have whole control of your home now, which is great because sometimes maybe you do want to cut the circuit on stuff. This would give you full control. And by the way, this would also reboot your router as well as everything else connected to that breaker. Yeah. But maybe that's the solution is to put this in.
I'm making my notes now. So anyway, so I've been, I've been listening to you guys forever, not in this mode, but on KFI every Saturday and Sunday and everything else you did. And so, and I am going to sign up as a P1 or whatever you call it.
Yes, Mr. Club TWiT. Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think you need a studio, actually.
I don't think we do either. I think we can get away without it.
Yeah, I'm almost like in your studio right now, aren't I?
Yeah. Now, everything's changed. Remember, I started TWiT 19 years ago, and everything has changed. And so what we did at the time was basically build a small, like a local TV radio station sort of thing, except instead of a tower and a transmitter, we had the internet. But we don't even need to do this anymore. You even see it now on CNN. Nobody comes into the studio anymore. Everybody's sitting at home on their Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So you watched that, on the NFL draft, I noticed everybody was doing it.
They're all in their living room. Yeah.
Well, in a 4 square, 6 square on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that background was their background.
Isn't it amazing?
That's a picture.
Yes.
Yeah. No. It's actually great. And I'm doing this on a Samsung Fold 4.
Oh, I love that because it just sits up
over.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. And I've got a Cox wireless router because I haven't gone to Eero yet down here, and it's working perfectly. There's
look how good you look.
No problem.
Yeah, look how good you look and sound. Yeah,
I know. Well,
it's amazing.
Yeah, so,
out of curiosity,
so anyway, if you ever come to Phoenix,
I have a question.
I'll use your studio. That's right.
Because exactly. We can use your studio. You mentioned that you've got that great system where if the breaker trips, if the refrigerator basically goes out, you get a text. If you're in your other house, what do you do about that? Do you buy a plane ticket and get there before the steak thaws? What do you do?
Well, what people do is there are people. So see that little box back there? I don't know if you can see it. Just lost you.
Well, we see you. I see your refrigerator.
Well, so anyway, up there is a box that sits there that's in the power with a green light. But no, there are people in these communities who for $5 a month, they'll come by and they'll flush toilets and do all that. Nice. Come in and check, and then if you forget to change your address on your on the Amazon deliveries, like it's happened, they'll come and put them in the garage. Put them in the garage, nice. And so and that's a great service. And so where there's a need for things, there's people that'll create little side hustles, nice. and you Venmo them, and they'll come in and flush toilets and
modern world,
check things out. Yeah. So anyway, thanks you guys. Second time I've been on your on your Zoom. Thanks for going long.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
7-3. Hey, I like this. I want to put this in my house. The smarter energy management. You replace the circuit breakers.
I am so
in your
surprised
house.
that I have not seen you get one of these yet.
You know about this?
Yeah, and the reason why is because there's a guy who works at Apple on the home team.
Yeah.
And he did a whole new install upgrade to his home, and this is one of the things that he got.
These are smart switches.
Really
you can control
cool.
their GFIs, so they will, trip, but you can use your phone to turn it back on again or test it.
And you can see all of your power usage.
Look at this.
It's really neat how it works.
Oh, I'm putting this in.
Except what's going to happen is
somebody
in the house is going to end up being the biggest power consumer, and you're
I
going
will
to be
know
able to
who it
guilt
is.
them. Yes.
I will know.
You'll go, oh, that's what's taking up the most.
Oh, this is great. This is we already have solar. We have batteries. I think this is
it's a really cool thing.
And it's Leviton. And look at that. The EVs, they take up a lot of power too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a notification. This is great. All right. And Leviton's a very well-known brand for this stuff. We probably have a Leviton circuit breaker.
Yeah, Leviton's great.
Box already.
They make awesome,
the Modern Load Center. All right. I will check this out. And you can replace those circuits one by one. I'm not going to do it myself.
No, God, no.
Very
dangerous.
Yes, last night the charging cable from the EV charger got stuck in my wife's car. We couldn't get it out and lock the car. Couldn't get it out. It was locked in. So I went and I got a screwdriver. I thought, and I'm gonna just stick that screwdriver in the port there where you plug in the power, and I could probably release that lever. No, I didn't do that, but I came this close.
You thought about it. Oh my God.
And then I thought, I'm not ready to get toasted yet.
Oh my word. I would have been hosting TWiT this.
You would have been, it would have been me. Yeah.
Dear.
Little pile of ashes.
That's grim.
Just put them here or somewhere. Let's do one more.
Wild.
Just one more.
Now, one more email, call.
I got an email. Do you have any video voicemails?
No video voicemails.
Okay. Any voicemails?
I have voicemails.
I'll do a voicemail and I'll do an email. We'll split the difference.
All right.
You start.
Do
this. You just put the screwdriver in and you can kind of.
This is Ann in Antioch.
Hi, Ann.
I just have a question about keyboards. What would be the keyboard on the market today that would be most like using an IBM Selectric typewriter? Right now I'm using a red tactile, and I'm making all kinds of a mistake. So I'm thinking maybe I'm using a red linear. Maybe I should be using a brown tactile?
Yeah, the switches.
Can you help me?
Yes.
I'm an expert typist. I've been, a secretary and typed 135 or something words a minute. I just can't get accuracy on these. What do you call these ones that
smushies.
Come with the computers?
Hate those.
They got some kind of a plastic sheet across them.
Yeah.
Synthetic, or I can't think of the word.
Oof.
But anyway, can you help me?
They're called
I just
dome
want a nice
switches.
keyboard where I don't make all these mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's unfortunately we only have a couple of hours because I could spend literally the rest of the day talking about keyboards. You too, John Ashley. I know you're into this stuff. So the Selectric, look, nothing's going to feel like a Selectric. They feel so good, right? IBM, when they first put out computers, used something called a buckling spring keyboard. And you can, I have a Northgate at home. I mean, I have one, and they're pretty close because they have they have little springs in the switches. So all keyboards are just switches, right? A bunch of switches. And they have little springs that kind of give, and that's the clickety clack. And if you go, if you go to the airport and you try to get a new ticket, you'll hear those. It feels like they're doing work. I'll tell you my current personal favorite so there's a couple of things that are involved here. One is travel. How long you press the key. And modern keyboards have almost no travel. Then they also have plastic dome switches underneath them that are soft and mushy. So there's very little travel. And there's very little tactile feedback when you hit it. Now, you're already into the different switches, and that's good. That means you can replace, a keyboard. I know Benito's also into this, aren't you? You're into good keyboards, too, with different switches. Benito and I both have Keychrons, right, Benito? And so do you, John? And so do you, John Ashley? We're okay. The only person who doesn't here is this guy.
I have a Keychron, then I have a keyboard that I bought from a Singaporean company.
Okay. But would all of us would say Keychron?
For the budget, yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're not cheap. They're not budget. They're a couple $100.
No, the Keychrons are about $100 nowadays.
Well, it depends what you get. So one of the things that's good about the Keychron is they're heavy metal bases. So they are rigid surfaces. You can choose the switches. They have a lot of travel in the keys. And if you look at this looks like the keyboard, a real keyboard with a lot of movement. You can choose. They have a variety. They have wired. They have wireless. This is a full-size layout. They have smaller layouts depending on what you want. And they have a broad variety of mechanical switches. Now, this is the hard part.
Yeah, which one?
Is how do you know what switch to pick? You want the loudest, clickiest, most movement possible, probably, right?
That's look like candy from here.
They're very tasty.
Do they taste like?
Yeah. This is just getting you started. Now, they do have, thank goodness, a very good buying guide that will tell you the different layouts. They'll tell you a little bit about the switches. They even have, I think, an audio recording of what the switches sound like, which is not, that's not going to completely.
It's good for people who speak into microphones for a living. It's good to know what it's going to sound like.
They use a newer couple of companies for the switches, Gateron and Kyle. But most people who are into keyboards, by the way, the next place you're going to go is Reddit. r/keyboards, because then you'll find a whole bunch of people talking about which is which and all of this stuff.
Gateron.
I think the Gateron North Pole 2.0 gold-plated switch is the very best.
It got
has
exhaust
holes.
By the way, it's mechanical
So do
keyboards, not just keyboards.
Mechanical.
Yes.
Oh, good point.
Oh, /r mechanical keyboards. Okay. If you do go to Reddit, that's the place you'll want to go. You could just search for keyboards and you'd find it pretty quickly. So, but I think we're pretty happy with Keychron. There are many, many brands nowadays that specialize in keyboards. I think the main thing is the keyboards that come with all computers these days are those short travel, dome switch, soft touch keyboards. Just don't get that. Anything that anybody's offering a mechanical keyboard with long travel keys and switches, you're going to be happy. I use the browns, I believe.
What did she say? She had the blue?
She had the reds.
Oh, red.
Reds are supposed to be pretty clicky. I don't know.
I just know if I get into this and I'm going to get too into it, that's why I have avoided getting into it.
Well, the Keychron prices have gone down quite a bit. Yeah. You can easily, but I have now actually. Can somebody hand me the Keychron I have over here? These are a little quieter because I didn't want a big loud.
You'll burn 50 calories just bringing it over.
It's heavy. And this is a 70% keyboard, I think. It's smaller, so it doesn't have thank you, Benito. It doesn't have a number key.
Yeah.
But you could see, look at that. And listen.
You could hurt somebody with that thing.
I just hurt myself. You can hear the clicking. In fact, you can hear if you listen carefully. There's like two clicks. There's the switch click, and then when it hits bottom. And so you can choose how it feels when it hits bottom, how loud the switch is. There's a lot of things that you can do. This is I've been very, very happy. You will be as accurate as you were with your Selectric. What now? Which one is this? The Singapore one?
No, this is Keychron.
It's also a Keychron. People customize the different keys.
What keys are on it?
They're called matcha keys. They're kind of like matcha colors. It has like little
matcha colored keys, and the return key has a picture of Mount Fuji at sunset. So I don't know what kind of crazy person.
I want to feel.
They're very quiet.
These are quiet. I don't like these as much. You want quiet.
It makes sure that I don't make too much noise when I'm typing.
There's a good there's good travel on it. See which one you like.
Oh yeah, I like
clicky.
Yeah,
I like clicky.
Not if I'm.
But this isn't great for on the air. Yeah.
Yeah, I had bought like 100 count of those switches, and I took out the ones that came in them originally, and then put them new ones in They came pre-lubed, so they're even quieter.
He's fallen down the hole.
Yep. I don't want to end up like John.
We've lost him. John Ashley. Huh?
Oh, so if I'm not a PC gamer, then maybe it doesn't matter as much.
Well, this isn't for gaming, is it? This is for work.
You've got your gaming one at home.
This is for work. This is also for work. I really like this keyboard. Here, go ahead. You can play with it.
I'll just sit this on my lap.
It's a little heavy. But you want it heavy because you don't want it slipping and sliding around.
I think it needs a dusting.
Well, it's probably.
Sorry, should I not have said that?
spit a lot.
Okay, never mind. Someone take this off of me. I'm just kidding.
This has Bluetooth or wired. You have to decide that too. One of the things I like about these Bluetooths is they can be tied to 3 different computers. So there's a little switch. Actually, it's just function key 1, 2, or 3, and you can switch which computer you're connected to.
Huh.
I like Keychrons, Keychron. That's probably what I would recommend. But that's just the beginning of your keyboard journey.
Good luck.
You have a lot, but you're going to be very happy. Get the clickiest, heaviest, metalist one you can get. That's what I would say. I have a Q3.
I bet you could mod an IBM Selectric to be a keyboard. I bet.
Oh, you could totally do that.
Who is it?
Yeah.
There used to be a Twitter account, but I can't remember the name now.
Yeah.
It's the person would always.
That's going to be
make
a lot
Doom
more expensive.
Run on different things, but
make Doom run on a Selectric. Thank you. You are wonderful. I didn't get to this email, but don't worry.
We'll get to it next time.
Oh, God, I'm glad we didn't get to this. Ian wants to know how to merge his Google Workspace email with the free Gmail.
Oh,
I'll put that one back on the bottom.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We do Ask the Tech Guys Sundays from 2 to 5 East Coast time. That's 11 to 2 our time. You can watch us do it live on YouTube, youtube.com/twit/live. See, I learned.
Nice.
I learned from you.
I love it.
I learned things.
You can teach. Never mind.
Are you going to call me an old dog? You were going to call me an old dog. That's okay.
See, I've learned tricks too.
That's okay. I'm just going to lie here and fart.
Well, that's because you have exhaust holes.
What? How can they reach us?
Oh, I don't know. 888-724-2884 is the phone number you could use to communicate with us during the show, but also whenever we're not recording. That's how you leave voicemails. atg@twit.tv is the email. You could send in video, audio, or text to ask us questions there. And as I believe Leo mentioned, call.twit.tv is how you get in touch during the show.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Mikah Sargent. He'll be back on Tech News Weekly on Thursday, iOS Today on Tuesdays, and of course here every Sunday. I will be on in just a few minutes with Sam Abuelsamid and our panel for This Week in Tech. Have a wonderful, dare I say it, a great Geek Week.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.